anything, bus, perfect. Yo.
So here he is, KRS-ONE going through with the biz. I just dropped my shirt, but I'm still not hurt. I'm here in Barcelona doing work. I just came from Paradiso with my people. You know we can't be equal. We all here and we unique. Watch how I speak. We on the Barcelona street. KRS, you got to know. Catalunya, somebody say, oh. Still dripping, that's his park, still flipping. KRS-ONE, still kicking, all in the club, straight ripping. Skills over here, they ain't missing. We kill over here, they ain't listen. Shots in the air, face missing. Still hitting, still spitting, that tip mark still dripping. That's his park, still flipping. KRS-ONE, still kicking, all in the club, straight ripping. Skills over here, they ain't missing. We kill over here, they ain't listen. Shots in the air, face missing. They ain't listen, they ain't hear me. KRS-ONE, he's the best, clearly. Can't get near me, can't compare me. Criticism, that don't scare me. Give me the jammy, sticking them up. Give me the Grammy, I'm ripping it up. Mockaroo, give me the cup. Cluck, 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 when the bottle's up. You're never gonna know when your time is up. When you're out of luck, when your mind is stuck. Line them up, when my time is up. DJ Predator, Primal Cut. Open it up. Open it up. Move back. Open it up.
Y'all ready for the Blast Master?
Fresh.
KRS, man. Oh yeah. Hermano, KRS-ONE is the number one.
Right, here in Barcelona, this is Centro America, El Salvador, representing, here to see the man, the master, the teacher, the boss, the shot caller, KRS-ONE.
I'm not the only MC keeping it real. When I grab the mic and smash, all the girls go,
ew. La rima ya beta yo, de como yo me compuerto ante mi cerebro. Quiero lanzar un poco de parrafada para que veas que la rima siempre es atrevida poesía.
You know, for years we've been doing this. I write my name on the tennis ball, like that. And as I'm writing my name on it, I'm thinking about who I'm gonna throw this out to and how they gonna receive it. This is part of the technique of MCing. And that's what this is all about. That's what this presentation is all about. It's about the deeper parts of MCing. Those that are serious about their craft, serious about words, about poetry, and about street poetry. This is the presentation for you. This presentation is all about mastering the techniques of live MCing with an emphasis on the art of freestyling. I will be walking you through some of the fundamental techniques to successfully delivering your rhymes and rhyme styles live on stage. These first lessons are all about touring and the life of the MC. So let's get started.
You know what it is? I'm back in here, yeah. This what it is.
yourselves one time. If you with me, you can hear my rhyme. Say ho! You know, in hip hop, we have a saying that says, a good MC always becomes a great rapper. But great rappers are not necessarily good MCs. And what does that mean? It means that when you're an MC and you're good at what you do, eventually corporate sponsorship is going to chase you down. If you're good at MCing, corporations are going to approach you. Money's going to come your way. But some people try to leap over the mastery of MCing to get right to the money as a rapper. Now, of course, you want to be able to live, pay bills while doing your art, which means you have to be successful at your art. So you can't go through this naive saying, I just want to do it for the art. That's not going to work. Yes, your heart should be right there. We're doing this for the art. But your mind has to be in the environment. It has to protect the heart. The mind has to protect the heart. You keep your heart clean. But you're going to be in an environment that requires money, promotion, contracts, this, that, and the other, and you gotta be savvy. You gotta know what you're talking about. Let's move on to the next lesson. Turn it up, Paul! Turn it up, Paul! Freestyle off the top, real shit. Freestyle off the top, KRS-ONE, live in the jam. This is my second show here at Yam. Yo, but really it's not the second, of course. This is something like my fourth. I've been coming to Yam from way back in the day, man. I can't even understand. What? Real low. Real low. So like I said before, you can give me the music just a little bit more. A little bit? Yeah! That's that shit. Now look, I'm live off the top. So if I mess up a little, fuck it, I won't stop. I'm live. This is how I did it on my block. This is how I did it with my DJ Scott Rock. See, we were sitting in the living room back in Webster Projects looking gloomy. Looking gloomy because we had no money, no food, and it wasn't roomy. I mean, I didn't have a big house, man. I was chilling, no doubt. But let me tell you this, you can never be poor. When God is in your heart, you got the hardcore. Listen, listen. So I came back with the lyrical, but my lyrical is like spiritual. And the spiritual lyric is the lyric that you get it when you hear it. See, my lyrics are swerving. I can speak to Italians, French, and German. Roll up! See, I just got to say this for real. I got my son on the wheels of steel. And this whole shit's insanity. It's a business. I try to keep it in the family. Make sure you get it. Make sure you get it. Let me tell you where you gotta be. You gotta be right here, yeah, with BDP.
Put your hands in the sky right now! Hands in the fucking building! BDP,
Look, rap is something we do. Hip hop is something we live. Rap is something we do. Hip hop. Again, rap is something we do. Again, rap is something we do. Now let's go over what just happened.
Peace and welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. That got me amped. I am Minister Sun One, and let us welcome Acronologist Minister GSIMONE.
Hey, that was great. That was a great memory. That tour was powerful and very inspiring. So Let us begin. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am the ACRONOLOGIST, GSIMONE. The Temple of Hip Hop is a hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society established in 1996 by the TEACHA, KRS-ONE. As you know, we have just released an album, I Am an MC, Are You One Too? On February 22nd, 2022, which is 22222. The album has charted #2 on the top 40 U.S. hip hop albums in the country on the iTunes chart this week. Very excited about that. Like to shout out all the producers on this album, M. Lottie, Pascal, Sun One, K Prime, and Jackson Whalen, who produced the track Think Bigger, where I appear on the chorus. And we must all begin to think bigger in 2022. The #2 is significant. In numerology, the #2 is associated with relationships and partnerships. 2 is a connector. 1 + 1 = 2. So when you see 2 in your day, remember that healthy relationships and partnerships are important to your development. Last week, we talked about endarkenment. When your intellect is baffled and can't see a way, your spirit guides you to that something pressing inside, revealing its truth. That's the acronym for spirit. I'll say it again. Something pressing inside, revealing its truth. It is here that we learn to listen to that inner voice. Today, we are talking about going with the flow of life and the movement through dance. Going with the flow of life and movement through dance. And how do we do that? We must simply flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. Again, flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. Going with the flow is taking it easy on yourself. Your willingness is your power. Don't fight life's outcome worrying. That's another acronym for flow, and that's the opposite of following life's outcome willingly. Worrying about things that are likely to never happen will take you on a ride that only causes you more fear and doubt. Go with the flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. Follow with willingness to learn and grow through the process. It strengthens and empowers you, and in turn, it inspires and motivates others. Stay up this week. Wishing you health, love, awareness, and wealth. And now, the teacher. Peace.
Yes, we sort of have to change places here because I got my notes here. And as G. Simone pointed out, welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. Let me get in center of the screen here. Move that like that. Big up to everybody who joins us this week and every week for that sense. Good luck, Simone. I didn't know you was going to get into that #2.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Number two being partnerships and relationships. Interesting. Just for Simone and I, even personally on another level, and all of you there that are experiencing this kind of hip hop philosophical approach, where numbers matter, where principles matter, where your character and the way in which you're going to conduct yourself in life matters. And so again, I thank you all for being here at the Temple of Hip Hop. We get down every week, Sunday. This is not religion. This is not science. This is philosophy. This is philosophy, which is the mother of both religion and science. We're getting back to philosophy because religion and science seems to be, well, for today's challenges, religion and science have become very limited in their answers in terms of what they can, what these disciplines can actually offer societies. As you see, with all the scientific genius going on in the world today, all the technological advancements, even advancements in medicine and going to Mars and all this other stuff and discoveries in science, we're still shooting each other, killing each other, lying to each other, deceiving each other, raping each other. So what difference does it make if you could go to Mars, if you can't even go next door to your brother's house without an argument? What difference does it make? You know what I'm saying? So science is failing society. And that's no diss to scientists, it's just the truth. Science is not answering the questions that society is having right now. Same thing with religion. Religion been failed the people, been lost their trust. All religions, all world religions. And I say that respectfully. I'm not here dissing none of that. But we're going to talk the truth today and every day and every Sunday. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. We are philosophers. We seek wisdom, truth, righteousness, understanding, mercy, charity. It's in the divine performance. We went over it a couple of months ago. But the point of the matter is that make the distinction. This is about philosophy. This is not about praise and worship. This is not about, I got to believe in something. No, sorry. We bring the evidence here. This is the evidence of what's going on. And here we're teaching hip hop. So we approach the timeless wisdom of the world through hip hop. Nothing I'm saying is really new. Believe that. Nothing I'm saying is new. But the way in which I am saying it and the culture by which I'm saying it through is brand new. The world has never seen anything like this before. They had pieces of it, so on. But we in the 21st century right now, and hip hop is ruling. Let me also say, Simone, you shouted the producers out. Good looking on that. Yeah. I want to give my own personal shout out. Thank you to all the producers. Simone mentioned everybody. I'm not going to start naming names. Simone went through that. But everyone who participated in the project, sincere thanks. I bring that up because that's what today's lesson is about. And it's so funny. We're teaching in real time. It's like, would it be another coincidence, right? That this week, that I decide to drop my album this week, okay, February 22nd, 2022, is the week we are discussing the freestyles. We're up to our lesson, the freestyles in the gospel of hip hop. Let me grab my gospel. And I don't take that as a coincidence. Like I said, if those that live this life, if you live this life, this is not a coincidence. This is divine guidance and divine timing. And we're teaching in real time, in real life. Last Sunday, I told you an album was coming out. This Sunday, I'm telling you I'm number 2 in the world right now. Wow. Time is flying, ain't it? And on top of that, what are you doing with your time? Time is flying. And time's not waiting for you. What you doing with your time? Gossiping? Talking stupid? Scheming on people? Watching dumb television shows? Wasting your ear with stupidness? No. If no one ever told you, let me be the first one to say to you, you're wasting your time. And time is not to be wasted. It is a very valuable tool. Time and space, but time. So I say this to say that last week I told you an album was coming out. It was called IMAMCRU12. Now this week, the album is out and we're number 2. We're not just out. We're the top album on YouTube at least. And also, let me also say, who gives a fuck about a goddamn Grammy? Public Enemy. We ain't looking at no charts. You know that ain't the truth. But it's interesting, but we're not denying the reality of what's happening to us. And that's why I say to you, we're teaching in real time. I'm not just running my mouth here. Well, I am on several occasions. But I'm not just running my mouth here with empty words, I should say. Really take a look at what's going on. And don't just look at my words. Look at my work. Or I should say, look at our work. Because it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody working, everybody putting into the project to make this happen. So look at the work. Look at what's going on while we teach, while you hear the lesson, while the freestyle, while we continue to read from the gospel of hip hop. Don't just take the words and know that the person who is teaching you this is living this really every day, all day, and you're seeing the results of what it is that I'm teaching. I'm living what I'm teaching. So there's no surprise. that we would have the number 2. And by the way, we actually have the number 1 record actually on YouTube, because Kanye is number 1 with an old album. He's there, you know, when you go there and look at the chart. I don't get into this stuff, but that's the point. It's an old album. We all heard that album already, and a great album. But my album just came out, so I'm the true number 1 in that sense. I'm number 2 because Kanye's audience is crazy, and so I'm the latest thing out, at least for this week. Other artists are going to come, obviously knock me out, but the point is that from last Sunday to this Sunday, that's the emphasis that I'm putting on this. From last Sunday to this Sunday, within this week, we have succeeded in the preservation of our culture. We're not just talking. It's not just talk. I mean, it's talk. We talk. But it's not just talk. It's do. It's get up. It's express the divinity within you. And don't be afraid. Express your divinity. You know, KRS-ONE doesn't sound like anybody, okay? And that's I'm not bragging about that, of course not. But I want you to see that I'm being who I am. I'm being unique. I'm being who I am. I'm not afraid of me. Okay, I'm not ashamed of me. And you should not be either. You should not be either. People say all the time, love yourself, respect yourself. But then when it really comes time to do it, we don't do it. We don't respect ourselves. We call that arrogance. Oh, you're being arrogant. Why? Because I love myself. Because I respect myself. I'm being arrogant. Right. That's what it looks like. Oh, he being egotistical, narcissistic. It's all about him. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about anybody who come up with the idea that they're going to love themselves. All of a sudden now, you're all of this. And that's why people shirk from that. You know, and don't lift themselves up. Don't stick their chests out. Don't raise their voice on their own behalf and for their own interest. So I start there because this lesson today, the freestyles, is really all about that. And what a coincidence. Like I said, drop the album, and we just happen to be up to this. You know, we're not planning to you know, we're reading as we read. And so we just happen to be reading the 9th overstanding, the freestyles today. Right when the album dropped. And I just want you to catch that too. Before I start, let me shout out my dudes in Florida. Big up to Florida. Shout out the whole 305. Names too numerous to mention. DJ Heron, I gotta say his name. Zulu Angel, Maya, his wife Maya, the whole family, kids, everybody. We was in, and shout out Dougie Fresh. Last but not least. If you heard the album, I have a song on there called Can You Dance? And what we did was I called Dougie up because in the song I say, let me see you do the Dougie. And so I said, let me get Dougie in this real quick. Called Dougie up. He was like, word, come on down. I'm right here. He's in Florida chilling. He said, come on down. So I ran down to Florida. Son one and I, we ran down to Florida. And Dougie came out. Big up to the Joint in Miami as well for opening up their doors for us. Big club, it's called the Joint in Miami. If you're ever in Miami and you want raw hip hop or reggae, that kind of thing, go to the Joint in Miami. But we were there, and Dougie came through and blazed us, straight blazed us. Okay, came in, did the Dougie. Did his thing, and it's so funny because I'm presenting this record, and I'm not presenting Dougie as a beatbox master, which is what he is. I'm not presenting him as an MC master, which is what he is. I'm presenting him as a b-boy, as a break, as a b-boy, as a dancer, and so it's really refreshing to see in the video Dougie Fresh do that. Video, of course, directed, shot by Son One. Of course, he got put to work. And had to rise to the graffiti level section of our teachings. I want to mention that too before we also get started as well about Son One, who's with us on this call as well. That we were talking the other day, and this is before we went to Florida, and it was about, you know, Son One's ride with the Temple of Hip Hop. It's been down for about 10 years now, maybe even longer. But I remember a very young Son One. Before he was Son One, he was Shakespearean. And he was up in Connecticut in ciphers trying to make it pop. I used to see him from time to time come through, and so on. And as you know, the Temple of Hip Hop is an exclusive organization. We're not just grabbing this, yeah, you could be down. Sure, anybody could read the gospel on their own time. But to really walk with the teacher, you have to have something in you. You got to have a certain discipline as well. And so Son One started out like everybody else, young, crazy, coming in, trying to find himself. And then one day he decided to get serious with the temple and came forward. And I say this, you know, out of respect, because I'm talking in what I'm teaching here is we are teaching in real time. So it's not just about our words or the reading of this book that is the teaching. Look at the life. Look at the life itself. Look at the results of the teaching and decide for yourself. Is this the lifestyle that I really want to live? Is this the lifestyle that I want to adopt even or exemplify? Is this really it? Because as a teacher of hip hop, I'm showing you the culture itself with my life. I'm showing you I am hip hop. We are hip hop. So it's not just about the reading of a lesson. It's also about looking at the life. Son One joined the temple. It's about 10 years now ago, and came in. And then I had a stricter policy, which I may institute again. But if you really wanted to get down with the temple on a serious level, you had to pretty much come and live with me in that sense. You have to leave your environment and come over to where I am. And I open up. Simone opens up a nice house. Sometimes we have separate houses that we put temple members in. Son One actually established the last one we had, temple house we had in Atlanta just before COVID hit. We had a temple house in Atlanta, but we usually put you know, since the temple been up, we've been setting up these alternative houses where temple members meet and have a place to sleep, chill, so on. But you got to live the whole life. You can't say, well, I'm going to work a 9 to 5 even, and or any kind of job for that, and say I'm going to, you know, live a hip hop life. Sure, in the beginning, while you're studying, learning, this kind of thing, sure, you could work, job, school, other obligations, family, all of that stuff does work. We do not suggest that you shirk your responsibilities. But there comes a time in your life, really with anything like this, cultural, spiritual, professional, educational, anything like that, where you have to decide, wait a minute, this got to be 24/7 for me. I'm going all the way with this now. I'm going all the way. So we offer at the Temple of Hip Hop a way for you to go all the way. And all the way is you got to come and live with us, live with me. And what happens? You learn how to live. You learn how to live. What's the acronym for hustle?
How you sustain the life every day.
How you sustain the life every day. Imagine I'm living with this, okay? Okay, how you sustain the life every day. That's your hustle. And this is one of the first things Simone laid down on you when you come into the house. What's your hustle? How do you sustain your life every day? How do you do it? And then we start showing you. You know, we live off of our breaking, our MCing, graffiti art, DJing, beatboxing. We don't live off nothing else. We live off that. We live off the mastery of these skills. So you in here writing rhymes, beats, practicing your breaking, doing your murals, running out, taking meetings on behalf of your skill, on behalf of your element. You're doing this for real. You're going to pursue this for real. So Son One came forward, and he wasn't the only one. Others earlier came forward as well. But Son One came forward, at least the latest one to come forward, and say, I'm going to take this serious. And upon arrival, he laid down a grand, because that's what it was to come into the house. You got to lay down a grand, lay down $1,000, and enter the house. One time, $1,000, one time. And you enter the house. Of course, you get more, the food alone costs like crazy, but that's not the point. The point is, how serious are you? How serious are you? If you're willing to spend $1,000 to come and live at the Temple of Hip Hop and learn these lessons every day, we think you're serious. So Son One came with his grand, laid it down, and said, I'm serious. I'm going to live here now. So I took him in. Simone took him in and said, look, okay, this is what it is. What are you? Who are you? He said, I'm an MC first, and this is how I'm living. This is what it is. He also expressed that he was a family man as well, and that he had children, and that he was trying to build a legacy and a heritage for his family. And he felt that hip hop was the way to do it. And the KRS-ONE had a program to get there. Not no star, rapper. This is way past that. Way past that. Legacy, heritage, what you bring it home to your family. So we started training, among other people. Like I said, Pascal, Ministers in the Room is always there. Lifted. Shout Lifted. We all are training. Desire. Shout out Desire. Who got that? Huh? Maggie Love. Well, okay, now Simone shout out these people. Okay, now Maggie. Okay, Maggie. You got a shout out. Okay, well, anyway, we all started training together. And it's funny, you know what? Let me not breeze over Maggie, because that was a California training where we was at KPFK radio station. We had a little building on Melrose Avenue. We were getting ready to set the temple up there. And then the landlord came and threw us out, said, well, he's selling the whole place. Just craziness, okay? And we had to move from there. But then I went on a tour as well after that. But I just mentioned all of this to say that others have come, and especially on tour, you get to live with your principles, live with what it is that we're teaching. You live with it now. And you get a different teaching on that. So using Son One in this lesson, I'm really talking about those who want to get serious with the Temple of Hip Hop, or serious about their learning of this specific kind of lifestyle, the hip hop spiritual life and cultural life. So now I said to Son One as an MC, hey, you can't just do MCing here. I'm an MC. No doubt. But I got to know breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing, beatboxing, street fashion, street language, street knowledge, and street entrepreneurialism. That must have blew his mind when he first heard it. But at the end of the day, he had to rise to all of that. And I put everyone under the same pressure within the Temple of Hip Hop. I remember going to Los Angeles, and me and Ambitious, Ambitious One, we got into the studio, among others. We was all in the studio getting there. And Ambitious sang this craziness. Should be no surprise, it's right before your eyes. Should be no surprise, it's right before your eye. Keep breaking and rhyming, DJing. That shit, that was the beat was like go 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 go. That was just like going, and Ambitious got it in right there. That was a training. That was a training. It was a training about expressions. Express yourself. We went in the studio, and I said, "Come on, get on that mic. Let me hear something. Get it out of you." And everybody went forward and spit. It wasn't about, oh, I'm lyrical. It's not about that. This was about the courage to express your own heart. And I just remember that Ambitious was just is this something? Okay, I'm not blowing you up, Ambitious, but you know, you went in the studio and rocked us, rocked all of us. So at the end of the day, we looked at that and we said, you know, it's not just about the talent. She's rising in her consciousness. She's seeing something about herself that she might not have seen before or knew all along and needed to express. This is the spiritual part of it. And so someone like a Son One comes forward, and I say, yo, I know you are MC, but if you can't DJ, what kind of MC are you really? Get on the turntables. He ain't come here for that. Start DJing, and in front of live audiences too. Training. This is training. This is training. Okay? He's up there, by the way, spending his money to travel, to show up at the concerts, to take the lesson, treating it like you would treat any school, like you would treat any course. You got to buy your books. You got to get to where you got to go. You got to find your knowledge, and it's not cheap. It's expensive. But how serious do you take this? Son One started, had to come through, had to learn the hard way. You know how many beats I rejected from Son One? Oh, this is the hot shit. Nah, no, it's not. The rejection, the setbacks, I thought it was dope. All of that, okay? Erasing the ego. Who are you here for, yourself or the movement? Who are you here for, the gospel or your own philosophy? What are you here for? All that had to get worked. And he wasn't the only one. Of course, you know, there are others who are going through their own thing, but Son One is the one who's with us now, so I'm using him as an example as to how you take this seriously and that we're teaching in real time. Now, albums started flying out. Shout out to my dude M. Lottie, who are really Mordai from Poland, and they under pressure too right now because Russia, as you know, just walked into, invaded Ukraine. And so Poland's right there. You know, this is what Hitler did. I'm just going to take this little piece right here because it belongs to us. Took that piece, took another piece, then another piece, then another. Now we World War II. And this dude doing the same thing. He said, let me do a little piece. Well, I don't know if he's doing the same thing, but at least this little piece right next to Poland, right next to, you know. So shout out to the Polish people listening to us right now. Hold your head. And everything also, let me also say this to those that are listening from the Czech Republic and Ukraine and all of that, places over there, Eastern, Central Europe. You know, everything is not all bad. Go with the flow, which is today's lesson as well. Follow life's outcome willingly. Everything's not always a fight. Just because somebody's invading your space doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. Now, I'm not taking sides with nobody, okay? I don't know nothing. I don't have enough knowledge to have a discussion on you know, what you should be doing in that portion of the country. So I'm not even going to go there. But what I will say is that from the African experience, every invader is not an enemy. Just take that in. Anyway, so this is the seriousness with the Temple of Hip Hop, is that, no, how serious do you take these teachings? Are you going to sit there and watch the teacher teach and then enjoy the fruits of his teaching? And you just going to sit there and watch me? That ain't the Temple of Hip Hop. I'm living my life, living the teachings that I'm teaching, hoping to inspire others that this is possible for you, not just for me, for you and for your family. This is possible. These are techniques. This is not unique to me. It's not unique to hip hop. Many cultures, nations figured this one out, tapped into something that was unexplainable, and then their prophets and philosophers and teachers, sages came in, interpreted this thing we're in that's helping us. Some say it's the Holy Spirit. Some say the Great Spirit. Some say God. Some have specific names, but we all are looking and experiencing this intelligence that's beyond our own intelligence. Something that our intelligence is looking at and trying to figure out, how did that happen? I didn't do it. We talked about endarkenment last week. About when the intellect is shut down and can't see a way. or when you purposefully shut the intellect down and go with the flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. Don't follow life's outcome worrying. Go with the flow. When you walk a righteous life, when you seek to help, love is on your heart, forgiveness on your heart and on your being, you get these privileges. These are the privileges. And the privilege is peace, love, unity, joy. These are privileges. Everybody don't get peace. Everybody don't get love, unity. Joy? Come on. 80% of the world is depressed. How you walking around happy? Because I live certain principles. And it is my responsibility as the teacher of a culture to articulate those principles to our culture so that we all may live in peace, love, unity, and joy. This raises the culture. Sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty don't raise no culture. Let me say it again. I don't know. That seemed too ridiculous. Sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty does not raise a culture. Health, love, awareness, and wealth does. To me, it's simple. But I guess, you know, I might eat something different or I don't know what it is. But to me, it's very simple. But to others, this is not so simple. To live in peace, to seek peace. That it's better to have peace than money. Or like one of my rhymes say, it's better to make an impact over an income. We're living this right now. We're living this right now. We're making an impact and an income. But the income is not the point. Sure, the income coming. You know what it is. But how much of an impact are you making? And that's what we're teaching in real time. Go with the flow. Somebody may be invading your space right now. This lesson might be interesting if you're hearing it right now. Go with the flow. Control your emotions. It may look horrible at first, but as you go down the line, as you go with the flow, if you're living this, if your gospel is in front of you, go with the flow. Try it at least. Go with the flow. Willingly adopt and adapt to this new situation you might be going through right now. Instead of fighting against it, it may be time for you to grow into it. It's just a suggestion, but you may want to look at that. You may want to look at that. We're all going through this right now because we're all living the same culture. People invading spaces right now. People in your space that you don't need in your space right now. People wasting your time. That's going on all over the world. We're not exempt to that, even in our personal lives. But the suggestion is, if you live a spiritual life, go with the flow. Everything's working out in your favor anyway. So even though the intellect may be baffled, this is crazy, why is this going on, shut the intellect down and live in the being. I don't steal, I don't lie, I don't cheat. So why should I be afraid? This is to my good. This is for my good. Follow life's outcome willingly. We're going to read about that today. So, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me get right into the lesson then. Let me just go ahead and get into that. And once again, I'm just looking at my notes here. Once again, shout out to Dougie Fresh for coming through and working the Dougie with us, among other dances. Shout out to DJ Haran as well for making it happen. Zulu Angel, his wife Maya, who is the makeup artist, got our faces right. And then, of course, the joint in Miami, the club itself, the joint. There was so many other people there as well. Shout out to MC Legacy. Big up to Hakeem Green. Right, how can I forget Hakeem? Hakeem made the whole thing happen. As a matter of fact, shout out to the camera people that came through, additional camera people that actually came through. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. The song is called Can You Dance? And we're just finishing up the video now. Maybe I'll rush this teaching along so I can get that and start editing. But with this, it'll come out next week, this week. But in the next few days, you'll see this video. Can you dance? And it's another way of preserving the culture. You'll notice while I'm rhyming, I'm talking about what are we preserving if the children ain't learning? Culture ain't just about numbering and wording. Sometimes you got to show the culture at the party. Come on, everybody, and go through the biz dance, the Humpty dance, the WAP, and of course the Dougie, among others, the Cabbage Patch, the Running Man, la 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 la. And we had a really good time. It was fun. It was nice and looks great. And we shot it right there. So shout out to everybody on that. That was, just I think the day before yesterday we did that there in Florida. And now I'm here giving this in-time lesson. Like I said, last week I told you the album was coming. This week the album's here. We now move forward. And well, okay. Well, look at my hair sticking up. Okay, so let's get right into this. As you can see also, we're going to do a lot of highlighting today too. Because it's obviously this is a short read, but a longer lesson. This is very important to the lifestyle, to the hip hop lifestyle. You'll notice last week we talked about endarkenment and about the intellect and the spirit having a consciousness that makes things happen without the intellect even knowing or being baffled by even how it happened. We got to begin to tap into this. But that lesson leads you into the freestyles, because now you're going to live a freestyle. Your lifestyle is going to be free. Why? Because you're not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of lack, because whatever you need, you could just intend it and it will come your way. And that's a real lesson. We talked about this. It was called, the Greeks called it participation in causes. Remember, we highlight this. To be able to manipulate the reality around you, to be able to speak to and communicate with your surroundings, the intelligence of your day, to be able to communicate with that is a wonderful gift. Not everybody has it, not everybody has access to it, but everyone can train to rise to this level. And you really should train at a young age. It becomes difficult the older you get, because you're already stuck. You believe certain things. You're not moving from your beliefs. You're not moving from your core belief. And it's not with the mouth. It's not just you say, no, I'm going to change. No, this is not the intellect. This is who you really are. The core of you. That core of you is what's creating your circumstances and your situations in your life. And you can communicate to the circumstances and situations in your life by communicating through the core of you. Through the core of you. Something pressing inside, revealing its truth. Spirit. So we now know this week in real time that skill mastery leads to success. Let me say it again. Skill mastery leads to success. That's what I hope I'm inspiring you to see. Not that I put out another album, my 24th album, not that. But it's possible for you, if you're an MC, it's possible for you to rhyme at 50. Actually, at 57. Actually. That's what I hope. That's the first thing I hope I'm showing you. That when we say hip hop, you don't stop, we mean that shit. Okay? Other people can take that. So this is a nice little saying. Nice little saying. Nah. The original decree, when we were young, 8, 9 years old, teenagers, 13, 6, 14, we said, hip hop, you don't stop. That was it. Hip hop, you don't stop. You don't stop this. This goes on and on. to the break of dawn. See, these are the rules. These are the cultural standards. And if you stay with the standards, you last forever. I hope I'm showing you this. It's not hard, y'all. It's not hard. Master your element, you last forever. First of all, you have success, but you also last. Your endurance is based on your skill mastery. When people are dissing you, do you have control of your emotions to get your work done? When people are praising you, do you have control of your emotions to get your work done? When people are ignoring you, do you have your emotions under control to get your work done? What's important to you? Getting played on the radio or having a video on TV, or protecting your culture and raising your people? What's important to you? So I'm hoping that with this project as well, I am AMCRU1 too, but just with KRS-ONE in general, that you can see, nah, we holding this culture down in a good way, not holding it down, but well, actually I should say we lifted this culture up, but holding it down. You know our language. We got this. We're in support of the preservation of hip hop, and we do it in real time. We're not bragging, but we're not lagging either. We're not going to lie about what we're doing. No, we've been preaching this for a long time. Hip hop as culture, skill mastery. We don't need these corporations. Why they got to promote our music? Nah, we're giving them value, and then in turn taking that value and making billions, then turning around and dissing our culture. XM Satellite, dissing, called Hip Hop Nation. Are you out of your mind? Shade 45. Look at what they playing there. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. Go right now, listen to it. This is what they call hip hop. Nah, we not having it over here, okay? We started the culture and we will end it, okay? Alpha, Omega, okay? We ain't bragging, we ain't nothing, but we the gods here, okay? And you on this call are the gods here. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. You are the gods in this culture. You come out of temples, not strip clubs. You come out of schools and universities, not drug spot, trap houses and liquor stores. Nah, that ain't where you coming out of. You coming out of temples, straight up. So don't let nobody tell you, oh yeah, well, yeah, that ain't nothing. Yeah, that ain't. Right. Now it's February 22, and they have nothing to say. Where those fakers now, yo, they got nothing to say. And we do it to them every year. We've been doing it for 35 years. Started with Criminal Minded. Nothing to say. Dudes talking against God, talking against positivity, talking against culture, talking against the teacher. Now, nothing to say. Because you fake. And that's what we showing you. And that's what we're showing the public. How embarrassing it is right now. We got the #1 record in the world, and these DJs still can't play it. How embarrassing that is. We're about to drop the video. Crazy. We're about to drop several videos. BET can't play it. Not won't play it. Can't. Because just like very few rappers want to follow me on stage, after you play a KRS-ONE video, what you playing after that? So I understand. I get it. You know, you can't play black, and then follow up with that stupidness they got on there. So let's just leave KRS-ONE alone. Let's just not deal with him. And I'm with it. Word. Because you're garbage, and I don't want my music in the garbage can. So there it is. But the culture is over here, and the culture is vibrant, and the culture is well, and the culture is successful, and the culture is prosperous. That's what I hope I'm showing you with this project. Not whether I sell 1 million records or get 100 likes or some stupidness on a chart. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to preserve the culture of hip hop. And we do it through music, through books, through films, through teachings like this. We do it through the Temple of Hip Hop. That's how we do it. So let's get down with today's reading. Here we go. We are looking at page 384. Those that have, I'm reading from the Gospel of Hip Hop. Oh yeah, and by the way, we had a spike in our viewership for the Gospel of Hip Hop. Of course, since the album dropped last week, our viewership went up with the Temple of Hip Hop. And I want to thank the new people that may be watching us right now. Thanks for coming through and actually checking us out. This is the Temple of Hip Hop, and we are preserving our culture for real. We believe that we are hip hop. And so the way to preserve hip hop is to preserve ourselves. And that's why we got this gospel, and that's why we're reading from it, because this is the preservation of the hip hopper. Way to think, way to live, where you don't get caught up by the system. You don't get caught up in sickness, hatred, ignorance, and poverty. You don't get that. You get health, love, awareness, and wealth. And seriously, we're not joking with this. Real health, real love, real awareness, and real wealth. I hope you're seeing that as well. We're getting money over here. I hope you see that as well. Ain't nobody poor over here. I don't know, well, let me stop. I am a poor righteous teacher, no doubt. That title will always stay, because it has deeper spiritual implications to it. We're not afraid of poverty at all, at all. That's another level of God's love right there. We know that. But for those that want to bling and talk to bling, push the ride, big house, we got all that. Just know that. And we preaching the word of God. Just know that as well. You young people, you have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. You don't have to go this other stupid route that disrespects your family and your heritage and yourself. Hopefully we're showing that now you can have the world's pleasures. You can travel. You can have money. You can have gold and diamonds and all of this. You can have anything you want. But you can have, not only can you have this, but you can also have peace. Why have all of that and no peace? Why have all the money? What does it profit a man? We come to teach and preach to each the young and old. What does it profit to gain world but lose your soul? Under the Bodhi tree like Buddha with a bowl. You can't believe in everything that you was told. I'm sorry, y'all. That's not booty shade. That's not. Let's go get these bitches. That's not the trap house. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, this is something else, and we're not dissing that. But know that you have a choice. Know that you have a choice. Hip hop has choices, and it ain't just one thing. Drug dealers, gangsters, that's all we are? Nah, we prophets and teachers and sages and philosophers and scientists and that. Yeah, we over here too. And we're strong in our culture as well. So know that as well. We're strong in our culture. That's what this week signifies as well. So we're going to continue on with our culture. We're going to continue on in 20 more years from now because we're studying techniques. These dudes is guessing. And if you want to put your mind and your time on people who are guessing, then fine. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. But I when your life is at stake and your career is at stake, your sense of being is at stake, you need real knowledge. And that's why I thank you all for being here. Let's read. So the ninth overstanding, the free styles. And notice that it's two words. That's the first thing. The free styles. Okay? Freestyling, as it was originally known, was an effort to modify and personalize popular dance forms, the popular dance forms of the 1970s. This is the first term, freestyling. It wasn't applied to rap or rapping. It was applied to dance. Freestyling, as it was originally known, was an effort to modify and personalize the popular dance forms of the 1970s. During the 1970s, hip-hoppers mimicked James Brown's Get on the Good Foot dance steps and combined them with older, more traditional dance forms and body movements like capoeira martial arts. Now, I want you to go back after we read this, and go back just and look at that with your eye, okay? Those who haven't seen it, go back and look at James Brown, Get on the Good Foot. You know, get on the good foot. Go back and they have videos of James Brown doing this footwork stuff. This is the beginning of the freestyle dance. James Brown, Get on the Good Foot. Combined with older, more traditional dance forms and body movements like capoeira martial arts. Go look at that as well. There's some really good capoeira videos out there. Go take a look at that. Capoeira, I'm not going to get into the etymology of the word. It's too long to mention, but it was 16th century Angola, Africa. Slave traders, invaders, colonists, basically, capitalists, basically, in Africa, looking to steal people, steal children. And these young people, these teenagers, what we call today the windmill, when you see breakers do the windmill with their legs up and they're spinning on their back, that was originally or inspired by capoeira martial arts. The Africans would have knives in their feet and on their feet and on their hands and in their hair. And when they put the net over them, when they tried to drop a net on them, that move that we call the windmill would cut up the nets or tangle up the nets, and you couldn't capture this dude in that. Imagine somebody, 5, 6 people around you with a net. They throw the net on you, and you do a breaking move. It's not breaking. It was called capoeira. It was a martial arts move. But you do what we did. Imagine you do what Crazy Legs did, or you do what somebody Pop Massive or somebody. You do what they did, and you free yourself. You cut up the net or tangle up the net. These guys couldn't touch you. In fact, your spinning movements was cutting throats and punching faces. It's a martial art. It was a fighting technique. So I don't want to breeze over that. These things have long histories, okay? James Brown alone takes it to the plantation. Most of his dance moves come right off the plantation. Like, imagine, you think that Africans were just hunched over picking cotton all day. That's the Hollywood image of slavery in the United States, which is a fake, false image of just picking cotton all day. These were agriculturalists, first of all, that planted the seed, watched the stars, and let the cotton grow. They weren't just picking the cotton, they grew it. And that's the part that slave histories leave out. I'm not going to get into this now. There's a new book coming called Black Oustery. I'm getting ready to drop that real quick. You can check that. But the way in which we view slavery is completely wrong, completely fantasy, and made up by Hollywood. And we run in behind this fake story of 12 years a slave and Roots and Rosewood, and the real story ain't even being told. The real story can be found in your elements. In your elements, when you really go into breaking, you start to get real African, European, and Asian history. When just by studying breaking, the seriousness of that study will sidestep colonial historical information and give you what's real. What's real is Africans were chilling. And I'm not going to say that the cotton fields and all of that wasn't hard, drudgerous work, or that the cane fields didn't kill people in the process. No, that did happen. But Africans are resilient people. We're doing beats in prisons. Okay, anywhere we go, we're gonna sing our song and dance our dance and bang our beats everywhere we go. It's not like these other things did not happen. But what did we do in response to them? We beat on the wall. Everybody wasn't raping, robbing. Oh, we down here, so we gonna kill our brother. Nah, those are Hollywood bullshit stories. Africans got together, a lot of them overthrew the ship and sailed back to Africa. We don't get many of them Amistad stories. Hundreds of ships, not just 20 or 30, hundreds of slave ships coming across. You had to have the right crew on board. You wasn't just putting your hand on a 20-year-old and saying, get on the ship. They get punched in your face and your head cut off. These Africans wasn't playing. They got cheated. They were told, get on the ship, come to America. I got evidence of this. I said I wasn't going to get into this. I got evidence of this from Australia, where the Australian Aborigines were told that they was getting jobs and all of that in these other countries. Indians in India were told the same thing. They had them going, they told the Aborigines, come to India and you're going to have a better life. They told the Indian, come to Australia, you're going to have a better life. Colonize both their countries and threw out the best minds into foreign countries. Brilliant plan, though, but it was criminal genius. And so this is how they did them, basically us. But look, I say this to say that the history of our elements reveal alternative histories to slave trading, African history. Like I said, African history, not slave trading. That's not African history. That's another history. But if you want to learn about slave trading in the world, study breaking. Study what capoeira martial arts really is and how it was really used and where it was really first originally used at. You'll get an alternative history. Go take a look at James Brown and look at the moves they did that on the plantation. Now, you supposed to be a stupid African picking cotton because you ain't got nothing else to do with your life under this white man. That wasn't the truth. The truth is after you did your employment, after you did your work, after you express the consciousness of your mind to make this cotton grow, or this rice grow, or this wheat grow, or this tobacco grow, after you put that forward, you went and got your banjo. And somebody start dancing. And after a while, somebody starts singing. And then somebody start rapping. And now we got something going here. And that was every night, right after we got together. And there's so many reports. I mean, it's so blatant what Hollywood is doing to African history, African American history. It's almost criminal, okay? Because when you really look at the documentation, when you really look at it, so many reports of parties. How you partying on a slave plantation? Africans through the biggest, white folk were coming to the parties. No, these are slaves. These are straight slaves. But white folk was at the party. Young white people, just like today. Just like today. You know, young white folk piled in to the club to see black folk get down. Same thing with the slave trade. On the ships, songs were going. Deals were made. Not everybody was whipped and beaten. Deals were made. Friendships were forged. Revolts happened. Whole history unknown. Study your elements. You'll get to it. So during the 1970s, hip-hoppers mimicked James Brown's Get on the Good Foot dance steps and combined them with older, more traditional dance forms and body movements like capoeira martial arts, creating new individualized dance moves commonly called freestyling. This is where this term is coming from. Such personalized dance moves were called freestyling or going off. From the north to from the south to the west to the east to the north. Come on, Spoonie G, go off, go off. That go off was a dance. Such personalized dance moves were called freestyling or going off because the dancer was basically presenting old and new dance forms in his or her own way. Uniqueness in traditional dance and body movements was the original idea of freestyling or going off. It was about doing your own thing within the traditional structures of dance. So you were doing your own, you still had to dance, but you did your own thing. Like this is the freestyle. I get a chance to just wiggle right now. This is not the patty cake. This is not the hustle. This is not the WAP, which are specific dances. This is me wilding out right now, just getting it in, but within the structure of some kind of dance. It was called freestyling. We see this with Soul Train. When you go down the Soul Train line, that's freestyling, where you get a chance to just go down the line, do whatever it is you can come to your mind in the structure of dance. In the 1970s, it was common for people to do their traditional dances to the songs of their day. But artists like James Brown, Sly and the Family Stone, and the Jimmy Castor Bunch had instrumental breaks in their songs. Part of the excitement of listening and dancing to these artists was that most of the popular songs of the late 1960s and early 1970s had the artist singing throughout the entirety of the song, whereas James Brown and others would sing up to a point and then stop in the middle of the song, causing an instrumental break to occur. When this break in the vocal performance of the song occurred, it was commonly understood that it was the moment to go off, to make up your own dance moves. It wouldn't be long before a specific group of youth dancers would form specific dance moves to accommodate the breaks of songs. On the East Coast, these dance forms would be called breaking or b-boying. On the West Coast, these freestyle dance forms will be called boy-yoy-yoy, will be called boogieing, popping, and locking. You know, often we hear people say pop locking. That's just a common term. And there is actually a pop locking when you combine popping with locking. But understand that popping is its own thing. Popping is when you pop, popping, you pop in the body. Locking is what rerun from what's happening was doing. That I'm sitting down, I can't do it, but it's locking. It's called locking, and that actually comes out of California with Don Campbell and the Campbell Lock Dancers. This, and again, see, okay, I'm not getting into this. There's a lot of history in every one of these names that I'm mentioning. You can go online and get really good videos of these moves and these dances, and then you'll see an alternative history as well. So let me hit you with this again. On the East Coast, these dance forms will be called breaking or b-boying. On the West Coast, these freestyle dance forms will be called boogieing, popping, and locking. These are three distinct dance forms. However, both coasts were united by their love for the breaks in certain recordings. Some of the earliest b-boys and breaking crews were known as the Don Campbell and the Campbell Lock Dancers, the Rock Steady Crew, the Nigger Twins, B-Boys in Action, the Beat Street Dancers, New York City Breakers, the Dynamic Breakers, the LA Breakers, and the Breeze Team. When rap, and by the way, most of these groups are mentioned not only because they're historically significant to the art of breaking. A lot of the moves you see being done today were created by these guys or transferred. Like, you know, they saw it and made it into something that now is commercially viable or culturally viable as well. The reason these people are mentioned is because they are significant. These groups are significant in the history of breaking itself. When rap music became popular in 1979, many breakers, poppers, and lockers, as well as graffiti writers, became MCs and DJs, bringing their b-boy, b-girl terminologies with them. When these ex-breakers and graffiti writers performed their unwritten, unrehearsed, off-the-top-of-the-head rhymes, they called it freestyling, because the same rules that were applied to the b-boys and b-girls of the past were now applied to the MCs and DJs of the present. Did you hear that? Let me hit you again. When ex-breakers and graffiti writers performed their unwritten, unrehearsed, off-the-top-of-the-head rhymes, they called it freestyling, because the same rules that were applied to the b-boys and b-girls of the past were now applied to the MCs and DJs of the present. This terminology is carried over from b-boy language, from breaking language into MC language. Today, freestyling is mostly an MC affair. Those MCs who spontaneously create and perform unrehearsed and unwritten rhymes can be said to be freestyling. Now, there's a debate over this right now, and I'm kind of lenient with it. I will admit that, well, here's the terminology. People are saying today that a freestyle is any rhyme that we haven't heard before. So when you when somebody say, yo, kick a freestyle, you can do some written stuff. It's just off. It's like you haven't heard it. No one has heard this already. Kick your freestyle. Yabba 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 yabba. Now a secondary version of that is kick your freestyle, and you're gonna kick something written, a poem, poetry that you've memorized. You know what it is. This is your freestyle. Now people are getting over with that. That is today's freestyle. That you're just gonna spit something that no one heard of, or you're gonna do a verse over a beat that it's not supposed to be on, or you're gonna spit your rhyme in some impromptu kind of way. You're freestyling. But freestyling means you can do written rhymes. Off the top now is becoming a term which means spontaneously rhyming. No written, no rehearsal. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I really need to record what's being said so I can remember what I said. This kind of thing, off the top of the head rhymes. That's a new term. I see MCs are throwing this around saying, no, I'm off the top. And that means that this is unrehearsed, unwritten. Freestyle is I can just get on stage and spit whatever I want. Even battle rhymes, dudes that got that, you know, these are all called freestyles today. But in the strict sense of the word, in the strict sense of it, we look at paragraph 8. Today, freestyling is mostly an MC affair. Those MCs who spontaneously create and perform unrehearsed and unwritten rhymes can be said to be freestyling. Now, I hold myself and others to that standard. But if I'm in an MC site and we supposed to be freestyling, somebody do their written rhyme, who cares? Okay, you better be fly though. Whatever you spitting, don't waste my ear space. Okay, don't waste my time. Let me hear what you got. And you spit that raw. Don't matter whether it's written or not. You represented yourself, and all MCs really agree with that. Spit something dope. Don't matter whether it's off the top or not. Just spit something dope. Now, if the rules is that we all spitting off the top and trying to raise to that level of lyricism, then of course you can't come with no written stuff. You off the top. But so anyway, so you kind of get the point. Number 8 is not a highlight, but if you are MC and want to keep that in mind, you're talking to somebody, you can say, well, paragraph 8 of the freestyles of the Gospel of Hip Hop says that freestyling is about coming off the top of your head, unrehearsed, unwritten rhymes. Those are real freestyles because that's the traditional freestyle. That's what it was when we first started the term. It was about off the top, unwritten. A lot of what Busy B was doing too. A lot of that stuff was not written. He came up with it at the party and memorized it right there, and so on. I'm on paragraph 9 now. I'm on page 385. Here, with this project, this 9th overstanding the freestyles, I have gone even further with the concept of the free style by offering 365 inspirational rhymes for a free hip-hop life. The freestyles are free to all temple members. Such members use these rhymes as daily affirmations, as well as potential choruses and verses in songwriting and or book writing. And I'm going to read this again, but I'm going to get through it. Moreover, the Temple of Hip Hop uses these verses as tools of inspiration for true hip hoppers. Let me hit you with that one more time because these are instructions. Here with this project, I've gone even further with the concept of the free style by offering 365 inspirational rhymes for a free hip-hop life. The freestyles are free to all temple members. People don't understand that. And I'm not going to say it too many times because I'm in a public forum. But the freestyles are free to all temple members. Such members use these rhymes as daily affirmations, as well as potential choruses and verses in songwriting and or book writing. Moreover, the Temple of Hip Hop uses these verses as tools of inspiration for true hip hoppers. I'm going to say this one time. You can memorize these verses, memorize these rhymes, and wind up being a dope MC. Like imagine this. Imagine if you don't rhyme. Or maybe if you do, but let's say you don't rhyme. And you go to January, and you master this. Today is the day I live by each verse. Temptation is defeated by trusting God first. The way of hip hop is always self-creation. With faith and will, you can change your situation. The only way to know hip hop like no one else is to know that you are hip hop, your higher self. Today, I will separate my wants from my needs and visualize my needs coming to me with speed. Matt, that's free to you. Okay, that means you're never without rhymes, okay, within the Temple of Hip Hop. We have rhymes for you right here. Say these rhymes, master these rhymes, say them. When you in a cipher and you don't have somebody like, well, he don't rhyme, she don't rhyme. Oh, what? Grab your gospel. You may have memorized these and go down the line. These will break anybody. Okay, say these rhymes at a club. Before you spit your rhyme, you want to get the club riled up. Each one of these is punchlines. Every one of them. The way you say it, the way you pull it off. Today is the day I live by each verse. Temptation is defeated by trusting God first. You say that to a crowd. They got to go, oh! You got to give it to them. Any of these, but that's the secret. You got 365 of them. Free to you. But you got to be a temple member because these words will backfire on you too. If you ain't really the dude, you really don't trust God first, but you spit in that, you're going to get tripped up. You really have to be the dude. You got to be the person that's actually saying this. But if you on this call, you are that person. And so you get these freestyles free to you. Free to you. So again, the freestyles are free to all temple members. Spit those rhymes. Spit them at work. Well, somebody y'all in work, you in college, whatever, run down January on these dudes. Da, 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 la, 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 la. You'll have an audience before you know it. If you just mastered this and said, this is going to be my career, the freestyles from the gospel of hip hop, those are the only rhymes I'm going to write. You'll have a whole career. And imagine 2 or 3 people can do it. You're going to form a club where we're only rhyming the freestyles. How dope you say it. What beat did you do it to? Did you combine March with January? Why? This thing goes on and on and on for hip hoppers that really want to get into it. But it's a gift to you. It's a gift. 365 dope rhymes. A rhyme for every day. For every day, there's a dope rhyme. Something you could put on your mind and memorize and walk through the day feeling confident about yourself. The freestyles are free to all temple members. Such members use these rhymes as daily affirmations, as well as potential choruses and verses in songwriting and or book writing. Moreover, the Temple of Hip Hop uses these verses as tools of inspiration for true hip hoppers, right? We'll tell you, we'll say this to you. Although each verse is relatively short, 2 bars each is what each verse is. You know, da 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 da, bar 1. Da 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 da, bar 2. Although each verse is relatively short, 2 bars each verse introduces an important subject for daily living. For daily observation and discussion. Read that again. Although each verse is relatively short, 2 bars each verse introduces an important subject for daily observation and discussion. There are 365 verses, 1 for each day of the year. They can be said to music, 90 beats per minute recommended, or recited internally as an affirmation. Even though each day is allotted its own verse, hip-hoppers are encouraged to choose a favorite rhyme from among the 365 verses and make it their daily affirmation. The freestyles are observed daily. However, each one can be used as the subject of a weekly lesson. And that's what we're going to do with this. That's what we're going to do with this, because I'm not going to read the freestyles in this session, because what I'm going to do is actually record the freestyles over a beat and just get into it like that. In that sense, I'm only going to read the reading part of the freestyles and then go to the 10th over standing, like that. So, which is actually graffiti writing, or graffiti art is the overstanding. But right now we're taking this freestyle lesson in right now. You're going to have to look at these months and so on and follow the instructions, get an affirmation. You know, the quickest one is to go to your birthday and whatever is your birthday, make that an affirmation on your daily affirmation, the one on your birthday. If the one that lands on your birthday is not really hitting, pick one. Pick another one, or somebody else's birthday, or some other day, or something, so on. Let's continue. Even though each day is allotted its own verse, hip-hoppers are encouraged to choose a favorite rhyme from among the 365 verses and make it their daily affirmation. The freestyles are observed daily. However, each one can be used as the subject of a weekly lesson. The true hip-hopper meditates upon the freestyle of the day as a daily guidance and or affirmation tool. Within the daily order of the freestyles, hip-hoppers are encouraged to fast every 7 days, regardless of when the fasting day appears within the month. Now that's important. I'm going to say this one more time. Within the daily order of the freestyles, hip-hoppers are encouraged to fast every 7 days, regardless of when the fasting day appears within the month. Every 7 days does not mean every Sunday, and fasting does not always imply the lessening of one's food intake. Now, let's highlight 13 and 14. These are instructions. Highlight 13 and 14. Here, fasting simply means to lessen. And the underlying word is lessen, not abolish, get rid of, stop. No, that's not the point. Lessen it. That's the true discipline. Moderation, can you bring it down? Here, fasting simply means to lessen your intake of sugar, salt, dairy, flour, alcohol, tobacco, meats, marijuana, and other intoxicants, as well as certain people, places, thoughts, money spending, talking, and other addictive habits every 7 days, or abstain from many of these events, people, activities, and products altogether. Now look at what's being offered here. And we talked about this in the health section of the Gospel of Hip Hop, in the H Law. Fasting does not mean always food. Excuse me. Fasting does not always mean abstaining from food. When we teach fasting as a spiritual principle, it also means abstaining from abstaining from hate, abstaining from anger, lessening your intake of salt and sugar, dairy, flour, lessen that down. You can even abstain altogether. Today I'm not eating sugar. Today I'm not eating salt. Today I'm not doing the flour, the fried food. I'm not doing all that. Today I'm not, you can abstain. Or if 3 times a day you eating meat, take the day off of the meat. Eat a salad all day and then pig out at the day. Actually, doctors would suggest you do it the opposite way. Eat your meat in the morning and taper off during the day with a vegetable, with a salad, with greens, with steamed something toward the rest of it. Like as you get closer to the night, try to eat healthier in that sense. But know what fasting means. It doesn't always mean abstaining from food. Abstain from people. I'm fasting from this group today. I'm fasting from spending money today. Ask yourself, can you go a day without spending money? Without spending $1? Can you actually go a day without using your phone? I'm fasting from the phone today. Can you actually do that? And I mean, test yourself. I'm going to put the phone down and I'm not going to answer it for one day. The phone's just not going to answer. It's there. It's on. I'm going to charge it, as a matter of fact. But I'm not going to answer it. Can you actually do that? Or are you addicted? This is what the hip-hop spiritual life points to. Slavery is addiction, not getting whipped and beaten and forced to work. That's Hollywood. Real slavery is addiction. And we're all addicted to something. So fight that slave. Fight it. Get free eventually. Eventually get free. But while you're young, slave it out for a minute. Slave it out for a minute. But towards the older years of your life, you're going to have to conquer these addictions. Conquer these dependencies. Even more dependency, even a stronger word than addiction is dependency. It's the same thing, but dependency, like depending on other people, for what you got to do, depending on things external of yourself to make you happy even, or to complete you, kind of thing. So understand what fasting is about. It's not just about abstaining from food, although it's that too. It's also about abstaining from other addictive habits and traits. What's the acronym for habit?
Having ability beyond instinctive thought.
Having ability beyond instinctive thought. Form a new habit. And that's what this speaks to, which is why the freestyle, I'll get into that. Just take that acronym though. Having ability beyond instinctive thought, the new habit. The Temple of Hip Hop suggests water-based, you are highlighting 13 and 14. I just read 13. Let's highlight 14. The Temple of Hip Hop suggests water-based soups, cleansing teas, and water for beverages, particularly every 7 days, as well as soothing music, silence, and or spiritually productive conversations every 7 days. See January 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th, and February 4th, 11th, 18th, etc. These are the 7 days. You can just go see that, and you'll see that they all speak to diet. They all speak to diet and what you're eating. But as I just explained, every 7 days, we're going to abstain from certain addictive behaviors. We're just going to cool off for a day. You can get back to it the next day. But just for one day, do you have that control of yourself? For 24 hours, I'm not doing this. Can you actually do that? And then while doing that, can you actually, engage the water-based foods, soups, teas, and cleansing teas, detoxing teas? Can you really do that every 7 days and make this a habit in your life? As well as listening to soothing music, and which is an opinion, what music soothes you. But whatever music brings the calm up in you, play it on this 7th day. In fact, you should have a reserved music that you only play on the 7th day. Soothing music, or just silence.
for this day, I'm not going to talk. Can you go a day without talking? And I mean, don't say nothing for one whole day. A talk fast. These things are important. They're very important in the long term of your life. This kind of control of yourself is so important in the long term of your life. Productive conversation. Seek a productive conversation every 7 days. While you lessen that unproductive conversation, seek the productive conversation every 7 days. So highlight 13 and 14. Moving on to 15 now. Finally, December 32nd begins at 12 noon on December 31st. December only has 31 days, but we cut the 31st day in half. We've been doing this for the longest, since the temple started. Cutting the 31st day in half and calling from 12 noon all the way to 12 o'clock. Sometimes we go from 12 to 6, but the technique is 12 to 12, where we call it the 32nd day, December 32nd. And on December 32nd, which begins at 12 noon on December 31st, on the last day of the year, we give ourselves a half day, devoting the last 12 hours of the 31st day to spiritual atonement as a 32nd day. On this day, we drink only water-based soups and water. We forgive others and ourselves, accepting in faith the mercy and patience of the Great Spirit. On this day, we are reborn in spirit. We observe the advice of the overstandings, and we prepare for the new year. This is what the 32nd day is. That last day of the year, you give yourself a half day, and that's the 32nd day. I'm going to affirm. I'm going to believe on myself. I'm going to visualize on myself. I'm going to see the greater me on this day. It's the new year. I'm doing this. On this day, we are reborn in spirit. We observe the advice of the overstandings, and we prepare for the new year. If you have received these freestyles after December 31st, then use the last day of whatever month you are already in to give yourself a half day for spiritual atonement. For example, January 32nd, February 30th, March 32nd. At the end of any month, you can go half day and open a vortex. Remember, we talked about your day being in you, not you being in your day. Most people wake up, oh, it's Monday. That's you living in the prison of a day. But you wake up, oh, it's Monday. Yes, I'm going to complete my video. I'm going to write a new album. I'm going to shoot a new movie. It's Monday. Let's go. It's my day. The day is not out there. The day is in here. My interpretation of my day is what's going to make my day happen. The day is not out there. The day is in here. The sunlight does not make the day. The light of the mind makes the day. And so, January 32nd, February 30th, these are vortex. These are days you can open up new dimensions in your calendar. And I hope you guys have your calendar. The 365 rhymes, affirmations of the freestyles serve as guidance for the truly committed hip-hopper. As you begin your practice, you will begin to notice how the freestyles will seem to speak directly to the happenings of your day. Ugh. This is us now. This is us right now. This is us right now, okay? As you begin your practice, you will begin to notice how the freestyles will seem to speak directly to the happenings of your day. The more often that this occurs, the more in harmony you are becoming with your hip-hop spiritual lifestyle. These affirmations, the 365 rhymes, help you to live hip-hop. Now, notice the underline on the word live. And notice the spelling of hip-hop. However, the most important thing a hip-hopper can do to hasten the productive results of her hip-hop spiritual practice is not to deviate from the practice itself. Once you are fully aware of what is required of you, it is then time to live it. Getting adjusted to the ways of a new life is always difficult. However, if you continue to press onward, such a new life will eventually become an old, habitual one. In this case, you are seeking to make and or strengthen hip-hop as your lifestyle, and notice the spelling of it. You want health, love, awareness, and wealth to be a regular habit in your life. You want real results from your spiritual reality. Ultimately, you desire to walk with God. All of this and more is achievable if you remain committed to your disciplined training. I'm living proof of that. This is what I teach. I'm teaching this. I'm teaching this. This line right here, this 20, is what I'm living right now as I speak to you right now. In this case, you are seeking to make and or strengthen hip hop as your lifestyle. That's what I'm constantly doing, trying to strengthen hip hop as my lifestyle. You want health, love, awareness, and wealth to be a regular habit in your life. Hell yeah, hell, heaven yeah. You're so real with that. Yes, what do you want? You want health. You want love. Well, you want hate? You want hate? I mean, come on. You want health. You want love. You want awareness. You want wealth. And sometimes young people are not told that. They're just left to decide what they want for themselves. Do what you want for yourself. An elder doesn't come to you and say, no, here's what you want. You don't want that bullshit. What you want is, and here's what you want. What you want is health. What you want is wealth, love, awareness. That's what you want. Now, you can look at me like I'm stupid all day, but you know you're going to want peace, love, unity, and joy. You want peace and prosperity. You want health, love, awareness, and wealth. These are the things you want. All this other worldly stuff, without this, it's you. The rich people are telling you. They tell you all the time, money don't buy happiness. So why are you rich? So rich people always say that. Money don't buy happiness. So why you got $1 billion then? No, the correct thing is money don't buy joy. Everlasting joy. Whether I got money or no money, I'm happy. Whether you looking at me or not looking at me, I'm happy. You can't get that. That's way past anything. That has to come here. That has to come from in here. You have to be happy. And I'll tell you a secret. The way to make yourself happy, at least at my age, is by giving yourself good memories. And that's about being conscious of your present, being conscious of your present day. You know, when I was 30, you know, I gave myself great memories. I helped people. I did my thing. You know, I just personal stuff that I give myself good memories. You know, there was so many times, you know, Simone and I was in a restaurant. You know, we eating, chomping down, and we see a family come in the restaurant. They're not paying attention. They have nothing to do with us. They just even there, they over there eating and stuff like that. And we just say, you know what? We tell the waitress, just pay for their meal. They charge it up like $500. You know what I'm saying? We cover that. They say, yo, just pay for their meal. And don't tell them, you know, just say, you know, just it's comped. You know, they ain't got to know nothing about us. They got to know who did it, whatever. But what that does is it strengthens the faith in another person. Strengthens the faith. You know, you sat down. I mean, like, and I know it strengthens my faith when I sit down, and I know I came to pay for my food. I ain't asking nobody to feed me in that sense. But when you get there, you sit there and eat, and then the manager come out and be like, "Yo, get up and leave, dude, because we respect what you're doing." And is that does hit you. It don't matter whether about celebrity, none of that. That man to man, man to woman, woman to man, woman to woman, that adult to adult respect gives you good memories when you turn 55, 6, 7, when you going into 60, and you think back on your life and you like, damn, I robbed that dude. Now you 60, that's on your mind? Oh man, I didn't do that, and I didn't do this, and I could have went here, and I didn't go there, and this one's bothering me still. This person ripped you off when you was 35. Now you 55. You still thinking about that same rip off? Like that kind of stuff. You're not giving yourself good memories, but you got to do it in the present. Like right now, I'm giving myself good memories for my 60-year-old, 70-year-old self. I'm being a friend to my 70-year-old self right now. I'm giving myself, when I look back on this at 70, I'm going to laugh because I'm being a friend to my 70-year-old self right now. Looking back on myself, I'm giving myself good memories. I'm actually recording this, as a matter of fact. So when I look back on it, this is going to give me a good memory. Chris, what did you do with your time? What did you do in 2000? Well, just the whole 2000s, really. But, you know, from 2020 to 2022, 2023, 2024, what did you do with your time? What did you do? What did you mean? What was the purpose of you? And if the purpose of you is argument and hate and resentment and all of this type of stuff, you're not going to give yourself good memories in your future. So make sure you give yourself good memories by consciously, really by living a righteous life. See, again, oh man, do I have to keep saying this? See, again, it's like, right, you don't live a righteous life just so people can say you righteous. Like, you know, you're not going to live on love just so people say, oh, he loves people. He really does. Nah, that's vanity. You live that righteous life so that you are confident in yourself. In yourself. You know you're not a thief. You know you're not a liar. Now, somebody say, man, he a liar and a thief. Get the fuck out of here. Matter of fact, I'm pulling my Glock on you because I know who I am, okay? This is what I'm not that. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me who I am. I know who I am. And you give yourself the memories of who you are. And so you double back on who you are. It's Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving. And everybody cutting the turkey and having big dinners with cranberry sauce and all of this. But you took your family out and fed the homeless that day. Y'all ate, but you took the scraps and the leftovers from the food. Instead of throwing it in the garbage, you put plates together and you went out and you fed 20 people. That's a damn good memory in your life. Nobody got to know you did anything. Nobody got to know nothing, okay? You know you did this. That goes into the heart. That goes into the mind. That goes into the subconscious mind. And you feel good about yourself. Helping people helps you feel good about yourself. Charity helps you feel good about yourself. That's why these things, forgiveness helps you feel good about yourself. That's why these principles are important, but only kings and queens or kandakes and negas can relate to this. Only philosophers can relate to this. And that's why the world suffers, because they throw this kind of knowledge away in ignorance and immaturity, only to scramble for it when they're 60, when they're 50, 55. Now you're scrambling because now you know. Now you say, oh, I know I lived long enough now to know certain things. And damn, I should have did this when I was 20. Damn, I should have did that when I was 30. Damn, I had an opportunity in my 40s to do this. Damn, when I just turned 50, I should have. Why you gotta live a shoulda, woulda, coulda life? Nah, do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. And you ain't got no shoulda, woulda, coulda life. You're gonna live a good life and you're gonna give yourself good memories. Let's read on. Well, actually, 21 is highlighted. In fact, 21 and 22, paragraphs 21 and 22 are highlighted. Let me go through 20 one more time, and I'm just going to run right into 21 and 22. 21 and 22 are highlighted. Highlight paragraphs 21 and 22. I'm reading 20. In this case, you are seeking to make and or strengthen hip hop as your lifestyle. You want health, love, awareness, and wealth to be a regular habit in your life. You want real results from your spiritual reality, not no faith and hope and smoke and screens. You want real results from your spiritual reality. Ultimately, you desire to walk with God. All of this and more is achievable if you remain committed to your discipline training. 21. This is what the freestyles are all about. They help you to remain committed to hip-hop spiritual lifestyle. The freestyles encompass the schedule of hip-hop spiritual life, which includes hip-hop's holy days like Hip-Hop Appreciation Week, which occurs the third week in May. Highlight this, okay, and make sure you get this part. The freestyles encompass the schedule of hip-hop spiritual life. So many of our children get into trouble because they're not on schedule. They're living life that doesn't. I feel this, I'm going to it. Excuse me. I feel thirsty, I'm going to drink. I feel this way. I'm moved by emotion, wants, and needs. You're not moving on a schedule. You're not moving on a schedule. You don't look at an affirmation daily and say, this is the guidance of my day today. I'm not moving out of this. People, and not that you're not doing, people are not taught like this. That's why we're doing this here. But look at the importance of it. When you put guidance on your life, you can't get in trouble. Especially when you put a positive guidance on your life, the cops can't touch you. Can't touch you. You become MC Hammer. Can't touch this. And start dancing right in front of the cops. You can't touch this. Nah. Why? I'm on schedule. It's those that are all off schedule, doing whatever they want to do, how they want to do it, and they think that's power. I'm doing what I want to do when I want to do it. Yeah. Nah, you run right into the pig. I'm sorry, the law enforcement. You run right into these dudes, okay? Because you ain't on no schedule. Now a law gotta come. No, put a law on yourself before the law comes, and you defeat the law that comes. Again, put a law on yourself, and you defeat all other laws around you. It's when you don't have a law to yourself that other laws are able now to come and govern your life. All law respects law. It's the lawless that don't respect law. Or maybe your law. But once you have a law, even government respects law. I mean, they don't look like they do, but in real life, in real life, government respects law behind closed doors. That's also why we put the gospel together, because we're building culture. So, again, we're not doing this in 1 week, 2 weeks. We won't see the end result to our work, okay? Our children have to take this up and keep it moving. But we are doing what we're supposed to do in our lifetime to establish the culture in certain legal ways, in certain real ways, not just talking about it and in an entertainment way. No, we're serious about this. This is why we wrote our gospel. This is our code of conduct. You can take this to court. You can take this to court and say, my gospel, my religion, freedom of religion. It's a law in the country, okay? My religion tells me I'm supposed to go this way. My spiritual practice tells me I'm supposed to go this way. My sciences, we have a book called The Science of Rap. In that, you get a little bit of history as well of the conduct of the hip hopper, the conduct of the culture. You can take these into court. They will recognize. The court looks for precedents. Where's this written? How long has it been written? How many people know that it's written? Now that the gospel's out and thousands, tens of thousands of people have this book and have shared it. And so now you look and you say, this is an established culture. We can read their conduct. Forget all this talk. Their intention is written. They're looking for peace, love, unity, and joy. You can't call us a criminal culture. You can't call us that. And those who do and try to promote it is that they lying, because we got the truth right here. We got the truth right here and had it since 2009. Even though the Stop the Violence movement is 1989, we're not even going to go there. Let's just start with 2009 with the publishing of the Gospel of Hip Hop. You can take this right into court. This is a written document, serious document. And again, we gave ourselves good memories by producing a gospel for hip hop. Continue this. The freestyles encompass the schedule of hip hop spiritual life. This keeps you out of trouble, which includes hip hop's holy days like Hip Hop Appreciation Week, which occurs the third week in May. 22. And 22 on the 2000s. Okay. Hip Hop Appreciation Week is a time set aside the third week in May to acknowledge and appreciate. Two different words. Acknowledge and appreciate the existence of hip hop itself. Most people say, yeah, I'm true to hip hop, but they don't acknowledge its actual existence. It's still a game to them. It's still an entertainment. It's still not them. It's something else. No, acknowledge hip hop's existence. You are hip hop. Acknowledge that. Every third week in May, get funky about it, okay? Every third week in May, I am hip hop. It's like Black History Month. You black all the way around the whole year, but this February, I'm gonna get real black. Okay. Every third week in May, I've been hip hop all year round, but this third week, I'm gonna get real wild on y'all right now. This is gonna be hip hop. I'm gonna express this. Acknowledge and appreciate. I love hip hop. Love it. Why? Because it loved me. We got a relationship going on, me and hip hop. During this time, the hip hop community refocuses itself through a collective review and update of its own history, as well as a renewal and update of its core principles and elements. Every third week in May, we look at ourselves. Anything need to be upgraded, renovated, modified? This is the week we're going to look at it. We don't look at that in January. We're not trying to change things in November, although that's Hip Hop History Month. That ain't for the temple to change things. We're not changing things in August, Hip Hop Recognition Month. We're not changing things. No, we are changing things. If anything needs to be modified, changes, any other third week in May, that's when it goes down. So highlight paragraphs 21 and 22. 23. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, artists can be asked to give sound advice on what they've learned about life and living. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me say this too about Hip Hop Appreciation Week. Yes, Hip Hop Appreciation Week is every third week in May. And Hip Hop Appreciation Week started in 1998. Since 1998, we have been putting themes to the week: gratitude, freedom, forgiveness. These have been some of the themes. Peace. These have been the themes of the week, and we try to speak, teach, and influence hip hop on those themes. Most recently, having conversations with Minister Son 1 and the acronologist GSIMONE. Talking to these individuals, I I started to think about it a couple of months ago. What is the theme this year? What is the theme to Hip Hop Appreciation Week this year? And sometimes we just put it out amongst Temple members, and we all say something, and then I usually just pick something and I usually pick democratically. If 2, 3 of us say freedom, then that's what it is. So what? Sometimes I look at the times, I say, nah, you know what? This is a moment for this. And that's happened as well. I just say, no, this is what it's going to be. But most times I let the temple choose. Now, this time, what we're going to do now is this is the first year that we are going to use the 9 elements of hip hop as the themes. I'm not going to guess the themes anymore or inspire the themes anymore. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. What we're going to do is the 9 elements of hip hop are going to rotate. And this is our schedule. That this year, we're starting with breaking. The theme of our Hip Hop Appreciation Week this year, 2022, is breaking. And you'll notice next year it'll be MCing. Next year it'll be graffiti writing. Next year it'll be DJing. Next year it'll be beatboxing. Next year it'll be fashion, language, knowledge, and so entrepreneurialism. And then it will rotate again back up to breaking. So this way we can plan now. We know what we're doing. Obviously the opposite of endarkenment, but this is intellect, where we have a plan. We have a schedule. We know what we're doing. So there's no more gratitude and peace and all that. We did that for 20 years, and it was wonderful. Now we're becoming a little more serious in this as well. And like I mentioned before, we're getting closer to buying land, establishing our facility, the actual Temple of Hip Hop. We are working with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is supposed to be finished in 2024. We are affiliated with the Graffiti Museum. They just got a new location down in Miami as well. Big up Desire. Keeps us connected with them as well. The Hip Hop Pop-Up Museum in Washington, D.C. We're familiar with them as well. Associated with them, we support them as well. This is what's going down. So we're getting more organized, our own selves internally. And so we're going to do 9 elements. And these 9 elements are going to rotate every 9 years. Rotate every 9 years. And so the first year, this year, is breaking. 2022, we start with breaking. And because it's our first element, breaking. And so know that. 23. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, artists can be asked to give, and I give that, we basically take this and promote this every year. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, artists can be asked to give sound advice on what they've learned about life and living hip hop. Schools of all sorts can be encouraged to discuss hip hop academically and critically. Radio DJs can be encouraged to upgrade their play of conscious rap music over the airwaves, etc. Now imagine, since 2009, I've been preaching this to the airwaves, to the DJs, to the all of these stations and everything. Have they changed? No. It's embarrassing for them. For them, not for the culture, not for hip hop. For them, it's embarrassing because you're showing yourself to be who you are. KRS came to you and said, we can't do this with our children. We don't mind some booty shake. We don't mind busting a gun off. We don't even mind selling drugs. Don't mind that. But that ain't all of us. That ain't all the culture. And why are you trying to criminalize the culture when you know it's black and brown kids going to the prison? I've been bringing this up since the Stop the Violence movement. They're ignoring me. And I don't have the power yet to shut them down. And when I say power, the people power. I'm still trying to convince hip hop that it's a culture. We now just got up 25 years later, 35 years later. We now at the point where we're saying, yeah, hip hop is a culture. Yeah, hip hop is a culture. But that's 35 years. Do we have another 35 years to wait for people to wake up and realize we shouldn't be giving our culture to these corporations at all? They should be paying us top dollar for every little morsel we give them. No. People say, Chris, who are you to say all that? And I'm just going to go ahead and give my heritage, legacy, value, worth, everything to these corporations so I can be seen and heard. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? I'm not paying your bills. I'm not paying your rent. I don't feed your kids. So who am I to judge your life in that sense? All I could do is come and say, you selling out. That's all I can say. All I can say is, yo, listen, we started the culture. You didn't. Okay, period. We started breaking, MCing. We defined it. There's a guy called Rakim Allah who first said EMCEE, a repetition of words. Check out my melody. That came out his mouth. And that's why we MCs. Others like Grandmaster Caz blew up the M.C. Master of Ceremonies. Now you want to call us rappers? Okay, I'm not criticizing, I'm not judging, I'm not doing that, but I'm sticking with the original. I'm sticking with what I know to be the truth. We said breaking. You say break dancing. What I'm now supposed to say break dancing because that's the popular? Nah, we called ourselves writers. You say graffiti art. Well, graffiti, really. Not even art. They just say graffiti. You call it that. We call it writing, bombing, burning, tagging, which is next week's lesson. We're going to get into that too. Yes, we use the term graffiti art in our 9 elements because that's what it is, graffiti art. But you'll notice in our definition, we breaks down the tagging, the bombing, the piecing, all of that, which is the true terms actually to what we're doing. But I mention this because we've been preaching this very word since 2009. And this is what Dr. King taught us. You know, sometimes you have to endure the injustice to reveal it. To reveal it. And that's what we're doing now. We are enduring the injustice so that it may be revealed. Right now, KRS-ONE, yeah, I just dropped my new album. Well, you think they're going to play it? No, they're not. Even if I service it to them, they're not going to play the album. Now, the people have to ask, why is that? And who is that? Who is that? Who's the executive's name? Where you live? What's the executive's name? Who is deliberately making the decision not to play KRS-ONE and why? Now, KRS, of course, I'm not looking for that. Like I said to you earlier, I consider all of them dudes sellouts. And I don't want to be around that, so you ain't got to play my music at all. The people are playing my music, and that's who I do it for. But the injustice still stands, though. You can't escape this injustice, though. How they criminalizing and prostituting our culture and ignoring the culture itself. Because nobody from the original culture is doing what they got up there now. Nobody. They shutting the original culture down to prostitute it and criminalize the culture. And who's going to stand up and say something and don't give a fuck either? Okay? There's a lot of us out here that's willing to stand up. But as I look from my vantage point, I don't know. I see a lot of people with their spine kind of hunched over. I don't see no straight spine happening. A lot of men are cowards and cowering. A lot of women cowering, and it's sad. It's sad to see. And this is what happens to the sage. The sage goes into the mountain. The sage goes into the forest. The sage goes into the desert and goes away from people to live the principles and really see the glory of God. Others didn't want it. Others threw it away. Others didn't want to hear it. They said it was too preachy. They said it was this and that. Now they're 50 and 60, and now they're rushed. They're willing to spend anything for a sentence of what they threw away in their youth. Don't be like that. You don't have to be like that. This knowledge is coming to you right now. Take advantage of it, like I'm doing right now. So here we are. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, artists can be asked, I'm just doing this again. Artists can be asked to give sound advice on what they've learned about life and living hip hop. Schools of all sorts can be encouraged to discuss hip hop academically and critically. Radio DJs can be encouraged to upgrade their play of conscious rap music over the airwaves, etc. During Hip Hop Appreciation Week, the hip hop community is encouraged to give the next person the right of way. This is character building now. Allow people to pass you. Do not block a person's forward movement. It's character. Can you adopt that character? Let people go in front. Yo, you got it. Donate your skill or profession to someone who cannot afford it. I do it all the time. People can't afford my radio drops. Some little scroungy DJ. Yo, KRS, give me a drop. I hit him right there. Probably I'll start rhyming. And imagine KRS rhyming on your recorder. You just took gold. you just rolled up and got gold. But for me, it's nothing. And I want to do it. Donate your skill or profession to someone who cannot afford it. At the supermarket, give your change to the person behind you in line. Be quick to compliment and slow to criticize. Listen to that. Be quick to compliment and slow to criticize. Be ready also to forgive and move on. This week, be ready to forgive and move on. Don't hold grudges. They give you bad memories in your future. Give 10% of your salary to your child's teacher. Most religious organizations, starting with Jews, with Judaism, have a concept called tithing. We talked about this too a couple of weeks ago, about giving 10% or some portion of your salary to your synagogue, to your church, to your temple. In that sense, we don't operate like that. We operate on a different philosophy. But can you commit to giving 10% of your salary to your teacher, to your child's teacher, or even to your own teacher? Right. Teachers don't get paid anything. And everybody know that. Okay. Teachers don't get paid. First of all, you have to want to be a teacher because there's nobody paying. Okay. You get a little something and that's the end of it. But you love your job. You love what you do. You know you're important to what's happening. And so it's not about the money. If you don't know that 1 + 1 = 2, you're going to think it's something else. Okay. So, give 10% of your salary to your child's teacher. That's also socio-political. Support your public school. Support it. Don't just think the teacher is good. You send your kid to the school and it's the end of it. No, you got to talk to the teacher. You got to encourage the teacher sometimes to help your kid. You got an extra $100, give it to the teacher. Tell him to him or his or her face. This ain't no bribe, and I don't want nothing from you. This is a gift. And maybe if money is not classy enough, do the gift card. Yo, get a $100 gift card, $50 gift card, $25 gift card to something, a meal, something. Give it to the teacher. They'll appreciate that. I know I do. People give me gift cards and stuff. I'll be like, thank you. No problem. We go to Red Lobster, with a gift card. And it's not so much about what it is or where it is, but somebody thought about you and gave you something out of respect. It was a transaction of respect. This is my physical This is the physical respect. I respect you, but let me give you something physical as a token of that respect. Teachers thrive on that and actually live on that. So don't just walk past your teacher or walk past your instructor one time for the year, third week in May. Focus on the people teaching you and teaching your children and try to support them. 29. Ease a neighbor's pressure by donating your time toward the ease of some duty they must undertake. Help your neighbor mow the lawn. This thing. Help your neighbor. You know, ask them if there's anything they need, especially young mothers and really young families. I can't even put the mother on it. Young fathers and mothers, you know, just had a baby. You know they had a baby. They might even know you, you know, whatever. But you could go next door and be like, yo, you know, y'all need any help, you need anything, offer yourself. Offer yourself as a help. Be a light in the world. Be a force for good in the world. Go to your neighbor, introduce yourself. Hey, how you doing? My name is Chris. Look, you might not know me, but I'm a rapper, yo, and you can look online, see what it is, but you just moved into the neighborhood. If there's anything we could do to help, you know, this, that, and the other, we right over here. You know how helpful, you know what that does to a new couple in the neighborhood, or new people? Your whole thing goes, oh, damn, at least we, you know, I didn't know what we were moving into, you know, but that warmth, that inviting warmth is healthy. It causes peace. Support is around that. You can move forward. Your neighborhood can move forward. Every hip hopper is responsible for their neighborhood. Every one of us, we're responsible for our neighborhood. We're not the ones destroying our neighborhoods. We the ones lifting our neighborhoods up. We the ones with the unity in the neighborhood. That should be the character of the hip hopper in any neighborhood. That, you know, as we get older, you know what I'm saying? And we land in areas, you know, and we're hip hoppers and people know we hip hop. No, you should be outgoing and be like, yo, what's up? They say, well, wait, what you about? What are you about? Well, I am hip hop. Really? I heard about hip hop. What is it? Yeah, I am hip hop. I'm a B-boy. I'm a B-girl. I'm a graffiti writer. But I just want to let you know that if you ever need your house painted, if you want to get down to this mural, I got you. You can't afford my murals. What? But I'll hook you, though. It's Hip Hop Appreciation Week, and my spiritual practice says that I should donate my talents this week. You know how many people would take advantage of you, right? In a good way. You know, in a good way. They'd be like, word? Your spiritual practice says that you got to do this and that? You're like, yeah, can I help you? They'd be like, yeah, you know what? Can you watch my kids? Can you walk the dog? I do need to, I needed an extra hand to lift this thing over to the next thing. Can you help? You help, you will feel good. When you finish helping, and especially the harder the work, the better you feel. I'm telling you, it may seem weird me telling you this, but I'm telling you, I lived it and I feel it. It's like I run into people sometimes that don't have no idea who KRS-ONE is. No idea. They're not interested. They're not into nothing. Okay? I'm just a tall black man coming in. That's it. And we get in a conversation or whatever. And the person just need a hand, just need a help, just need, like, you know, something. And you just be like, yeah, let's lift this together. You know, let me help you with this box. You see somebody struggling with a box on a dolly, and you come over and be like, yo, you need some help with that? You know what it is? Like back in the days when we was in the ghetto. In the ghetto! You used to always see cars that was broke down and people having to push them. And it was a ghetto trait to get behind the car and push the car. You didn't know who the guy was. This guy could have robbed the bank, okay? Didn't matter. It was a car that was stalled. And it was like a ghetto thing. Everybody just got behind the car because we knew the more of us get behind this car, the easier it is going to be for all of us to push it. Do you hear me? The more of us get behind the car, the easier it is for each one of us to push it. We got behind the car and pushed it down the block. or wherever he had to go. And it was fun for us as kids and young teenagers growing up and so on. This was a ghetto trait. This was a hood trait. We got to remember that now, because they are spiritual and psychological traits now that can help us live productive lives. So now we're highlighting 30, and we're coming to the end of this read now. We're highlighting 30. Actually, we're highlighting 30 all the way to the end. All of this is highlight. 30, 31, 32. All of it's highlight. This is the cap of the lesson right here. 30, 31, and 32. Highlight the whole thing. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is go back now to page 374. Go back to page 374. I think it's the third overstanding. Well, the third track. Hold up. Right? I think it's the third track. Let me get over there. Right. Okay. So it is. Okay. 374. Okay. Now, if you was following instructions, you should have highlight 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. And the whole end of that is highlight 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, and 95. Let me just read this to you real quick, because this is all going with the last part of this. Now, you notice that when lessons are similar in the gospel, I connect them within our reading. That's what we're doing right now. This next piece that I'm about to read, paragraph 30, 31, and 32 of the freestyles, connect with this one right here. Look at endarkenment. I'm going to breeze through it very quickly, and you'll see, because I have another piece to read. Okay? This is the first piece right here. Page 374, paragraph 90. Let me read you. The practice of endarkenment begins with the understanding that it is the constant search for worldly intellectual security, which is usually the idea of never doing without, always having an abundance of whatever is needed, always knowing ahead what is going on, that keeps us from being totally developed as spiritually mature beings. For as long as we depend upon our intellectual pre-planning abilities exclusively, not that we don't want to pre-plan, but only that, okay, we shall never develop the ability to see and act spontaneously in the dark with God, where most times there is no foreseeable plan. At this state of awareness, things are effortlessly and spontaneously created as needed. I'm bringing the life up to you right now. 92. Here, the teacher understands that abundance and wealth are great resources to have, but having the ability of true faith is worth even more. It is here that the attuned hip-hopper realizes what faith actually is. Here, faith is about having what you need exactly when you need it. And we underline that too. Here, faith is about having what you need exactly when you need it. Quite different from asking God in fear for an abundance of this or that. The attuned and boundless teacher gets exactly what he needs, exactly when it is needed, in the one God the teacher truly trusts. Miraculously, and with little effort, the teacher receives the perfect weapon just before the fight. The teacher receives the exact amount of cash just before the bill. The teacher receives the perfect vehicle just before the trip, the perfect clothing just before the engagement. This is the practice of endarkenment. It is about trusting and perceiving in your God, even when your intellect is baffled and cannot see a solution. It is about seeing and walking in intellectual darkness as spiritual light. At this level of consciousness, the teacher does not move around the world. It is the world that moves around the teacher. Through discipline and righteous living, the teacher expects the intelligence of life itself to be in harmony with the fulfillment of her purpose. everything happens perfectly in its right place and perfectly in its right time, always right on time. Now hold that thought, that's all there. Now take yourself over to page 290, paragraph 44. 290, paragraph 44. Here. Go over to page 290, paragraph 44. Okay, 290, paragraph 44. And we're going to read from 44 to 48. Let me hit you. Such a habit of righteousness eventually creates a reality that we call the inner city. And you're going to see how this all connects. The inner city connects with endarkenment. You can see the progression of this particular lesson. Such a habit of righteousness eventually creates a reality, eventually creates a reality that we call the inner city, where the physical world and its material conditions seem to act in accordance with your will. Your physical, spiritual, and mental surroundings seem to walk and talk with you. Everything seems to work in your favor. The good, the bad, the faithful, and the fearful, the victories, the setbacks, and the so-called defeats, all seem to work in your collective favor. This is going with the flow, okay? People that you need to meet show up unexpectedly, while those who you care not to meet seem to somehow always just miss you. The numbers that randomly show up around you are always exact: 101, 202, 303, 404, etc., or 11, 22, 33, 44, etc., or 10, 20, 30, 40, and 100, 200, 300, 400, etc., and 111, 222, 333, 444, etc. Even when you are late, it is because you shall arrive right on time. You begin to notice how opportunity keeps coming your way, even while others are convinced that the world has gone mad. Without any effort on your part, you are protected, promoted, guided, and secure. Health, love, awareness, and wealth surrounds you. People see the light in you and on you, and strangers feel that they know you like a family member. Others claim that you resemble someone that they admire. No matter what you look like physically or have materially, you are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are truly attractive. Even beyond your physical appearance, people are attracted to you and your beauty. You never really seem to age. You never seem to really age as well. Now, stop there. I'm pointing out to you the character. This is what you get. This is the promise. This is what you get. This is the effect. This is the result. This, page 290, paragraph 44, go over to, it's connected to 374, page 374, paragraph 90. And this is connected to this, page 388, paragraph 30, all the way to the end. I'm reading it now. For when this is your habitual nature, you will begin to experience a certain harmony with the happenings of life itself. Even when you are late, you shall be right on time. Even when you are denied, you shall be accepted. Accidents shall be either just in front of you or just behind you, but never with you. And even if you are in an accident, it shall be for your own good and or for the good of others. Never worry. Never worry. Never worry. When you are sick, it shall be so that you may become healthier. If you're sick right now, don't worry about it. You're getting healthier. Even those who may rise up against you shall fall victim to their own evil plans. I don't even comment on that. Where others must pay for everything that they get, you shall receive useful things freely. Everything that you lose shall be returned to you. Anything stolen from you or lost shall indeed return to you twofold. For when you make the decision to serve life, life itself shall indeed protect and serve you. Let me say that again. For when you make the decision, matter of fact, let's underline that. That's a jewel. That's a jewel. We're highlighting all of it, but underline that piece right there. For when you make the decision to serve life, life itself shall indeed protect and serve you. For you will begin to notice a certain intelligence governing and guiding the happenings of your life. Do not be astonished by it. Do not overthink or marvel at the supernatural activities of your life. Only accept them as normal. Expect it. For if you show any fear, doubt, or surprise, you will show yourself not to be ready. Simply go with the flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. There it is. This is our reading this week. This is the reading this week. This is how we got down this week. Let me get a towel. Hold on. This is how you live. Okay, as far as hip hop is concerned, as far as the hip hop spiritual life even is concerned, this is how we live. This is how we live. This is the schedule of the life. The freestyles open up the schedule of the life. This is how we get down. This is what it is. And I'm trying to emphasize that. Some people don't have an idea as to where they should start, or what they should be doing. And that's cool too, Sometimes to have an empty cup is better than having a full one. Sometimes having nothing in your hand is better for you to get something than having full hands. So it's like, nah, if you searching yourself, and you're here, you've arrived at the right place. But don't be so hard on yourself in that way. Search yourself, build yourself, have patience with yourself. And that's what this is all about. That's what the reading of the gospel every week is really all about. The building of ourselves, the development of ourselves, not criticizing ourselves and others, but pointing out truth. That's all. Just pointing out truth. If nobody points out the truth, everything's a lie. If nobody's talking real knowledge, real wisdom, real understanding, then everything's ignorance, confusion, chaos, depression. We can't have that in our culture. God is great. I don't even know what else to say on that. The sovereign mind of this universe is great. Look what God has set up. Look what God has set up. We are not going to lose this culture. And the mere fact that there is a temple for hip hop, a gospel for hip hop, a teacher for hip hop, okay, itself, you guys, the future teachers of hip hop. This is not a coincidence, y'all. This is not a coincidence. We're on divine time. We're on divine time. And we're moving in a divine direction. People don't have to believe that. They could believe whatever they want. But we live our lives like this. And so I thank you again for coming this Sunday, Temple of Hip Hop. This is what we do. We hope we're transparent. We hope you see what it is. This ain't one of these fake ass ministries that you don't know what's going on and dude is looking all crazy. Nah, this is not what this is. Again, like I said, this ain't religion. This ain't science. This is philosophy. This is where the truth is important, where character matters. This is what this is. And we're trying to walk the path. And I say trying because we all fall short of the glory of God. God is the ultimate idea of righteousness. That's the ultimate idea. We hope to be that. We hope to maintain our innocence in the face of the true God of the universe. We maintain our innocence. That's what the temple's all about. And we're going to build our culture. We're going to build our culture. We're going to protect our culture. We're going to develop our culture. And thanks to everybody out there that's doing that work. But we doing this work right now. You see what the work is. Again, album just dropped. You know, all our work is about preserving hip hop. And I know a lot of people say that. Yeah, my album is about preserving hip hop. But they never say it in their rhymes. It's not in your rhymes. It's not a specific point. And I'm not criticizing. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm something else. No, we're being specific. Specific. We are here to preserve the culture of hip hop. We are here to develop hip hop as a divinely inspired and guided global culture of peace and prosperity. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're not doing anything else. We're not picking up other philosophies and talking other stuff. And yes, I know there's other stuff to talk about, but that's not our mission. It's not what we're doing. We're about hip hop here, and we're about making hip hop more than just entertainment or some criminal thing that people want to make us out to be. Our very existence proves them to be liars. Our very existence proves them to be exploiters of the culture and not the culture itself. We are the culture itself, and we prove it through skill mastery. Not me saying, oh, I'm the culture. Nah, that would be ego. Let me prove it to you. Forget all this talk. Let's get the mic popping. Okay, forget all this talk. Let's get the beats going. Let me see your breaking moves. Let me see your graph piece. Let me see your black book with your pieces in it. Let me hear you do the beatbox. Can I hear you sing? What kind of beats you come? Forget this talk. Live the culture. And the living of the culture is the talk. That's the talk. The living of the culture is the teaching. The living of the culture is the teaching. So I'm hoping, like I said before, that you are reading with me, and I thank you for that. We're all reading together and we're learning. But look at the life. That's what's most important. Look at the life. I'm experiencing these teachings as I teach them. I am committed to these teachings while I teach them. And while I teach them, I'm experiencing the results of them. And this is what a teacher is. This is what the founder is about. This is what, not just the talk, not just you seeing me like this, but look at the life. Look at what's being produced. Look at what's going out to the public. Look at the message that's going out. And look how the public's receiving it. Look how they're receiving it. Dudes is gobbling it like, yo, word. This is it. So be proud of your temple. Be proud of your teacher. Be proud of yourself. God's people are on top right now. The culture is on top right now. And that's what we want. For the glory of God. This is what we want. God gets the glory. The ancestors get the praise. We do the work. And that's what this is all about. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. And that's the end of it for me. I am KRS-ONE, the teacher, founder of the temple. I'm here with GSIMONE. She's over here in the back, the acronologist, shouting out acronyms. I shouted a few of them today. I hope y'all wrote them down. Brilliant acronyms, something else to think about. But take that in. Son One, I'm going to turn this over to you. As you know, I'm on the run usually, and today is no different. That's it. KRS-ONE. I am out. Thank you, y'all.
Word, peace, and thank you, teacher. So another wonderful week in the Temple of Hip Hop. Thank you all for joining us, as always. I'd like to actually jump ahead a little bit in the gospel. You don't have to necessarily turn to it. You could just take this time to relax, think about what was said. But when I open my gospel, oddly enough, I open right to this page. And what was so funny is on the page, it said, flow and follow life's outcome willingly. And right below that, I saw the word freestyle. And I was like, wait a minute, the freestyles are earlier in the gospel. Where am I right now? And I found myself in the overstanding of the teacher. And so this section or this part that I'm going to read, I'm sure our teacher will link back and we'll go back over this once we get to the teacher's overstanding, back to the same lesson, because it's all together. But it also has a lot to do with a conversation that Teacher and I had during our travels. And let me thank him. I appreciate everything really. But he told you, I mean, it's been over 10 years that I have or have been granted the opportunity and privilege to be with the teacher on several occasions, and always at the right time. So he spoke, or in our conversation, literally, I'll start with this paragraph. For those who want to go back and look later, or if you just want to stick with me, I'm on page 489. Keep in mind when I opened to page 490, when I opened my gospel today. But so that was a hi-hat. Okay, I'm on paragraph 119, page 489. The task of the teacher is to make hip hop real for the hip hopper. This is achieved by living fully in the way that you teach and truly feel. Most people think and feel one way, but then they act another way. The teacher must be mindful of this. The exercise of hip hop's teacher is to bring the hip hopper's thinking and feeling regarding hip hop into harmony with that hip hopper's actions. And as he spoke earlier and said, right, he meant Shakespearean black, a lover of hip hop that needed to mature, essentially, to get here. And of course, I'm still working on myself, as we all are, but I've come a long way from that time, with the help of this gospel and our teacher. In other words, if you feel hip hop, act it out. Don't suppress your true feelings as a hip hopper. If you think like a hip hopper, then live like a hip hopper. Live like an attuned hip hopper. Now, my work ethic, I got the encouragement from this gospel, and also through teacher's lectures earlier during that time as well, of which he would say this. And I took the advice. It was like, right, no, I'm an MC. And let me continue it and do it continuously, master it. Don't just rap to rap. Or yeah, don't just rap to rap. Master the MCing. But not only that, he always encouraged mastery of all of 9 elements. And so, seeing as I was already producing out of circumstances of not necessarily having a DJ, I produce the same way, constantly. Master the producing, for one, so that your rhymes can match, or your mastery of MCing can match with this production, and vice versa. I had a thought. I'm jumping back in time in my mind, so bear with me. Um, right. So this was the encouragement and the advice of our teacher that I took very, very seriously. And not many people around me could understand it. They're like, well, things got to get taken. You got to do other stuff. And I was like, right, I do have to do other stuff. And I did it, but in doing the other stuff during that time when it was needed, I never let this down, or I made it my life. Whereas, no, I was rhyming at my job. Everybody knew I was an MC. Everybody knew I was a producer. I never was ashamed of being hip hop, and normally got a great response every job. Keep that in mind. Every job. I mean, I did everything from a waiter to a car salesman to even up to office manager, on the road salesman. Um, but really, hip hop, just trying to take care of my family until I had hoped that my being, or the intention of my being, would change my circumstances. And that's exactly what happened. It was my intention that, right, I am patient enough and willing to wait. And also with the advice of where Teacher said, you don't necessarily have to go anywhere, that you can grow right from where you're planted. And really, I would say trust God, trust in God, and things will happen. The better you get and the more serious that you actually take this, the universe responds. The universe will respond. And the thing is, or stay the course, because this is a lot. This is 832 pages of to wrap your brain around. Get rid of some other things that you've been indoctrinated with, or have taken to, and pretty much flush that out of your system and fully get into this. Not halfway, not sometimes, but fully. Let me continue. Okay, right. Okay, I was in the middle. Don't suppress your true feelings as a hip hopper. If you think like a hip hopper, then live like a hip hopper. Live like an attuned hip hopper. This is our greatest discovery as hip hoppers, to know that our repeated behaviors cause our hip hop reality to occur in the physical world. We are truly the authors of ourselves and our destiny as hip hoppers. Everything I just told you proved that. I knew what it was. I said, okay, I got to get this divine performance down and repeat it over and over again. And I'm going to see it in my reality. And now I see it, or I mean, I've been seeing it for a long time in my reality, but now it's very possible you can see that I see it, and you can see it too. That no, this is not, excuse the harshness, but this is not bullshit at all. Nothing about this is fake. This is, or I would say it's not just philosophy, it's the truth for hip hoppers. And try to come to grips with that and get serious. So as you become more and more attuned and in harmony with your true self, do not marvel at the miracles in your own life. The more you realize you, the more your environment shall cater to the vision of yourself. Life itself responds to your vision of yourself. My vision of myself is a minister for the Temple of Hip Hop, an MC, producer, DJ, um, we're gonna get into it next, but through video, graph writing of some sort, piecing clips and all that, like this. It's wild. I'm a really study and put our next overstanding very much into my being. Continuing on, being in harmony with your truth causes the so-called miracles in your life. And again, with such spiritual harmony, you will notice a certain exactness to the so-called random events of your life. You will always be right on time and in harmony with life's events. Like today, literally, I opened the book to this. Do not be amazed or try to over intellectualize the miraculous events of your spiritual life. Go with the flow. Follow life's outcome willingly. Expect to have things go your way, even if such a way appears impossible at the time, or the results of your actions do not prove favorable right then and there. You can ask my family. when things are going wrong or seemingly going wrong, are we going to be okay? Yes. I think I said this last week, or in several weeks. Yes, we're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. It always is, especially for me because I believe this. This is what I've put as my knowing. It's my expectancy that everything's going to work out. Everything is going to be great. We're going to have great days. Teacher talked about the great memories. That was another thing, another very influential part of this philosophy that is like, right. It affected a lot of my decisions, which brought me to this moment in place right here. I said, no, I need to have great memories. I should be seeing palm trees. And I just got to see him again. And he told teacher, I said, "Gee, I just love anywhere that got a palm tree." But it's like, no, great memories. What are other great memories for me? Being with the teacher, keep it real. Being with him, meeting Acronologist Minister GSIMONE and their children, and being able to help going to the shows, all the shows, doing the shows, DJing at the shows, freestyling at the shows, traveling the world. It was, you have to understand that creating great memories was stuck in my being since he said it, and I took it seriously. It was like, right, I'm going to, or I know the universe is really just going to do stuff. And again, and this is why it's like, I do take times where I talk shit. I talk my shit sometimes, but the things that I could really be bragging about and just really going crazy with, I don't. I keep that low because for one, I also know how it makes other people feel. And so I always keep that in mind. But no, it's like I know. I even said to teacher, I think it was yesterday or no, 2 days ago. I was like, no, or my it's not it's not about money for me. It's about my dreams have come true. And I know that God is real for sure. Like I'm not, I have no doubt whatsoever. God is real. And I know that there's a whole earth of people struggling with that question. Is God real? I just saw, right. I'm not gonna say his name. I know some of you probably follow him on social media, but just yesterday, a major producer, highly accomplished producer, put on his thing. And he said, I asked God a serious question the other day and have yet to get an answer. And he was like, it makes me wonder if God is rocking with me right now. And of course, I replied, I was like, my G, like you can't. It reminds me of the part in the gospel where it says, I think we actually just went over this. Does God always have to send you a sign in order for you to believe? And yes, things get hard for everybody, but it's that trust, and that's what we went over in Endarkment, to know that when things can appear however they appear, but if you have a knowledge of God, do your best to subdue those emotions that um take your clarity away, that you can't see in the dark. To know that the light is going to come back on. The sun is going to rise again tomorrow. Whether you see it or not, whether there are clouds blocking it or not, it's still rising, and you're going to get some of that light. Let me continue. As a teacher, you are always in harmony with life itself. Sometimes things will happen that appear out of your control or unproductive to your work. But hold on. But your physical senses cannot sense your entire being. They can only sense the happenings of your physical existence. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna send that to him. I'm gonna send this to him. You, on the other hand, operate in several dimensions at once. So what appears to be a disaster in the present may not be so in the future. And what happens to you in your space may be necessary for the prevention or something even more dangerous happening to you in another space. Remember, for those who live principled lives, all of our so-called accidents are for our own good and further development. I just experienced this. Our God is always working toward the fulfillment of our well being, even when our conscious minds are unaware of it. Again, go with the flow, follow life's outcome willingly. In conclusion, as a teacher, you are also a teacher, and with the teaching of any course or curriculum, accuracy, usefulness, and credibility are crucial. And I'll stop there. But if you look at the next paragraph right under that, and it's talking about how hip hop is being taught in a freestyle kind of way. But the fact that freestyle is right there, which again, everything I just read literally happened to me today, has been happening for a very long time. And is not going to stop. Hip hop, you don't stop. Yeah, I keep putting the gospel on the beat machine. The hi hat keeps going off. So know that, or just to link everything together, I thought that was appropriate. So again, the freestyles. Check your freestyle. Pick your freestyle that suits you the best. Mine is dope too, or is dope for me, because again, it aided in my seriousness as well. October 26th. Don't feel bad when your critics are astonished. God delivers victory to the soul that is polished. So no one understand, when you see me, I'm polishing my soul, and I'm polishing my being to be the best I can be. And I have the greatest, the greatest teacher in the world. Peace and much love to you all. Have a wonderful week.
What's up, y'all? It's the Blast Master KRS-ONE. Look, I'm dropping a new album February 22nd. It's on. I am a MC. Are you one too? If you got a chance to spit it, what you gonna do? I'm too hot to handle, too hot for fans too. When I spit my MC like they say, we cram to understand you. I stay hot like the Sudan do. Open your mind, I plan to. With real knowledge, nothing you can't do. Knowledge reigns supreme on these fakers I trample. Show up at the spot while they mumble and ramble. Pull out the wax, burn these rappers down like a candle. Watching them scramble, this is just a little example. The street teacher type, at the peak of hype, the leader type, the street preacher type, culture keeper, divine speaker type, truth seeker type, deeper type, seeking freedom type, the eager type, KRS-ONE, that's what he is like, making sure the family eating right while we seeking light. Real skill when I squeeze the mic, you gonna see tonight. 146 in Broadway, that's the throwback. Broadway RT 86, that's where the show's at. Jump on the mic with no skill, you get your nose cracked. Me, I was drilling them, killing them, man, you know that. All across 110th Street, Bobby Womack. Young and saying, that's the OG, that's that old cat. That's the teacher speaking that new rap and old rap. I'm giving you your heritage back, youngin', hold that.
Yo, peace, this is Son One. We in the studio right now with the one, the only, the legendary Blast Master KRS-ONE. We're working on his new project, I Am a MC, Are You One Too? I was featured on the Between the Protests album. You might have caught some of the joints, Don't Fall For It, Murder We Just Saw, Benedetta, a couple of joints on that. But this new album, he's formulating for MCs, an album by MCs for MCs, that hard shit, real raw boom bap, the gutter shit, the shit that we all came up on, the original shit that everybody loves worldwide across the board. So this is I Am a MC, Are You One Too? And we got mad joints coming on this.
Now, you know, of course, I'll give you some more kicks. the volume of it. You hear it more. And that's the EQ. Is it 2 kicks?
It's like a velocity kind of thing.
So okay, there's that. Boom, boom. Is there another one? Is there another kick?
Nah, that's it.
Well, you just added something. No, give me a kick.
Nah, the drums already gone.
That's the drum. Nice. Okay. We need to crunch this more. Because right now the kick is like wall. I like it. So the bass can cut through the bass.
Gotcha.
Okay, I see what we doing. Oh, this shit is hard. Okay, so you gonna go first, and I'll go. Yo, where'd you get this beat?
I hit up DJ Static, I told him I need magic. I spit that abracadabra, his beat was automatic. He boom, 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 backed it. The microphone, I grabbed it. This combination you basic, I'm about to let him have it. I'm graphic, these rappers wait to 2022 to begin to blink. The fuck with the KRS-ONE?
That's what it is.
Dropping albums one after another one, I'm in my 50s now.
Look, this is the name of the new album. It's called IMAMCRU12. It's each letter IMAMCRU, a 1 and a 2. That's the name of the new project. I'm dropping it February 22nd, 2022. IMAMCRU12. Let's get it in.
I like the sound of it. Only a few heads ever come around this shit. No getting around this shit, I'm pounding it. When I add rock, I get so beastie, boy. I start growling spit. You drowning in it. My flow is like the OG Kush. You loving every ounce that you get. I made it out of the pit. No glamour, no glit. This may be Run's house, but I'm the handyman pulling hammers real quick. You can't touch this with a hand or a grip. Rappers avoiding the smoke like a cigarette after it's lit. I spit the tactical, mathematical, actual shit. After I spit, it's a grip I'm about to go get. Got skills? You a rapper? This the question for you. IMAMC, are you one too? Turn to your friends, if they spit it, ask them too. IMAMC, are you one too?
And so we're celebrating all of MCing. And the word is MCing. We're not really celebrating this other craziness that's going on, but we celebrating the original art of MCing. Putting words together, metaphors together, spitting movies, as we said. This is what we dealing with. And of course, those bars. We coming with the bars, beats and rhyme skills. Bars. And so this is what it is. IMAMC, are you one too?
Yeah, yo, it's all about the spitting. It's all about the freestyle and the written. 2 mics is a tie, son, I'm hard hitting. I'm not robbing, I'm giving, you need to listen, I am insistent. With all due respect, I come correct, ain't no wishing. I shook hands with Mike, so now I'm mic gripping. Listen, double metaphors on tours are quite sickening. On TV, everybody look like they hitting. Until we in the club and the dark starts to thicken. The mic is handed to you and your heart starts to quicken. If through a screen is how you seen, of course you winning. But when we listen, you ain't got a pot to piss in. If you searching like Google do for the unusual, this music you cruising to, it might be suitable. I'm giving you the boom bap crack crack and the boom boom boom. I'm spitting that shit so rappers don't know what to do. Who they asking while I'm passing. The morning starter, Christos, I speak with passion. Speakers blasting, asking who smashed the party. Then go back to the college to discuss Marcus Garvey. There's hardly a better one, flipping the letter, son. I spit the metal netter, so of course I am the better one.